Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the full board meeting of September 2021, CB3. My name is Alicia Lewis Coleman. I'm your chair of the Community Board 3, Manhattan. I am going to give you brief rules for tonight's meeting. I see that there are quite a few people that are in the chat room that are waving their hand. I'm going to remind everyone that we cut off the speaker forms for tonight's meeting are cut off at noon of the same day of the meeting. So if you signed up just now to speak, you will not be acknowledged to speak tonight during public session. But you can very well save, if it's possible, you can come back and speak in October's full board for a public session. Tonight's chat will be only for attendance and acknowledgement of agencies. We will not use the chat room to discuss or have conversation. It will not be acknowledged at all. So please do not use the chat room for anything other than acknowledgement of shared information of email or of agency. And minutes, I'm sorry, and minutes. Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because we have a lot to cover tonight for this meeting for our first fall session. So here we go. We have a few people that are signed up to speak, and the first agency to speak tonight is, let's see, Asha. Am I saying your name right? I'm so sorry. Can we bring her over to a panelist? Baldi? I'm so sorry, I'm ruining your name. New York Independence Redistricting Commission.
I'm looking for her.
She's right there under Dale.
You know, that doesn't help.
Yell out.
It does. I have to find her name.
I'm here.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I'll go ahead and get started. So my name's Asya Buddy. I'm the Director of Public Engagement for the New York Independent Redistricting Commission. Everything I'm telling you is on our website. So I will speak quickly because I know you have a lot of speakers coming, and I also am a fellow community board member, so I know how long the evenings get. But you may be asking what the Independent Redistricting Commission is, because you've never heard of it before. This is the first time the Independent Redistricting Commission is in effect. We are a result of the 2014 ballot amendment that seek to create a fair and open process to the redistricting of both state legislature, state assembly, state senate, as well as Congress. The commission consists of 10 commissioners, 4 appointed by Democratic legislatures and 4 appointed by the Republican. The 4 Republican appointed independent and the 4 Democrat appointed independent. The 10 commissioners are tasked with submitting draft maps on September 15th, which we did. They are on our website. And then after that, holding 12 public hearings across the state. The 12 cities that we are holding the public hearings are mandated in the Constitution. Manhattan, New York consists of 1, as does Bronx, Queens. We're starting in Buffalo and heading our way down. The New York meeting is on November 10th. And then final maps will be submitted to the legislature in early January. Our commissioners felt that they couldn't even do our draft maps that we sent out without talking to the community. So this summer we held a listening tour where it was all virtual across the state and like by region. We had over 500 people sign up, nearly 300 people speak at our listening tours, and over 400 people submitted written comments, maps for over 1,200 pages of just comments about what they felt about the current district lines and what they hope to have. And the commissioners use that and synthesize that, tried to synthesize that feedback in these draft maps. So they are now really excited to hear back from the public, and that's why I'm here. I really appreciate the community board letting your folks know. We've shared a 1-pager with all the community boards that sort of tells a little bit about the board, but that we also have shared information on the public meeting. So you can go onto our website, follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. All of our meetings are live streamed, so you don't have to sign up to a public hearing to watch. They're live streamed on our website, recorded and uploaded to YouTube. You can watch the listening tour on YouTube, and you can also see previous submissions. And then under the participate tab, you can click after you've created an account and participate by submitting written comment, maps, and or sign up for a hearing. That's it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much. Okay, and I do appreciate you attending tonight. I know you have another board meeting to attend to.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're trying to get to everybody. So. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, our next public speaker, and I do want to remind everyone of the 2-minute rule. We have 2 minutes, and I hope that everyone will honor that. I see that Eric has been keeping the clock. Linda, do we not have a clock tonight? No? Okay, that's fine. So Eric has agreed to take the time to be our clock keeper tonight. So please, everyone, respect and honor the 2-minute rule. Amani Vieira, speaking about Open Arts, LES, and an announcement.
Hello, everyone. I'll make this very short and sweet. I'm Imani Vieira. I'm the Senior Programs Manager at FAB NYC over on 4th Street. I just want to invite everyone to Open Arts LES, which begins this Friday, October 1st, and runs until Sunday, October 10th. More than 30 local cultural organizations will be participating, and they'll be offering free activities so that residents can check out their programs and meet their artists and staff. A key event that we will be doing is on October 9th, Open Arts Outside, between 8th and 9th Street next to Tompkins Square Park. We'll have a dozen local cultural organizations, and they'll be also presenting workshops, info booths, and offering performances. There's a full schedule on our website, which is fabnyc.org, and I can also share the link with the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Amani. Appreciate that. Next, we have announcement from FAB NYC, Ryan Gilliam. Ryan,
That was the announcement.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna move on. Thank you so much, Imani and Ryan. Donald Moy is here to speak about Grace Faith Church. He has an announcement. Go ahead, Donald.
Yes, thank you very much. This won't take long. Yes, I attend Grace Faith Church and City Grace Church at 65 Christie Street. These are two churches that are collaborating in worship. We're two very small churches, but we really have a heart for the community. And next door to our church is a men's shelter. And we had a clothing drive for them early in the spring because there is just so much need for this community. And we've really taken to them. They've taken to us. They've joined. Many of them have joined our Sunday worship services. Many have joined our weekday Bible study service. But now we're planning to have a coat drive for them. The tentative date is December 12th. And the reason why I'm announcing this is we really need the help of the community because there is just so much need. Many of these people have work, but are looking for more sustainable work. Many are looking for work, and so many do not have winter clothing, do not have adequate winter clothing. Again, we're two small churches. We're going to collect as many coats as we can, but we need the help of the community. So we just ask, we implore you, please spread the word if you can about the coat drive of Grace Faith Church. We're located at 65 Christie Street. That's around basically 2nd Avenue, and below Houston Street becomes Christie Street. So 65 Christie Street. If you could spread the word, we would really love your help. And if you have women's coats, we can get the women's coats to a women's shelter. So we can appreciate the help of the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Donald.
Alicia, may I ask Donald, what's the best contact number for people to reach you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. I have put the email of the church. It's gracefaithchurch1@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope
Thank
everyone
you.
is able to help out with that.
Appreciate it.
The next speaker sorry. With an announcement is Sandra Struther. Sandra is a resident of Guild Street Guild Residents Association. She has an announcement.
Hi, good evening, everybody. For those who don't know me, my name is Sandra Strother, and I'm the president of Grand Street Guild, where I represent 600 low-income families, and I'm also a member of Community Board 3. So a few years ago, my landlord, Catholic Homes, announced that they were going to build 100% to 100% affordable buildings next to our 3 existing buildings. So while we were happy to know that the buildings were going to be affordable, we had some concerns about the affordability levels, as well as the impact on construction for the tenants. So tonight, I'm pleased to announce that we were able to get Catholic Homes to sign a legal and binding contract guaranteeing affordability in perpetuity forever for our Section 8 residents, good affordability rates for the new residents, and a host of other amenities like air purifiers during construction, no charge ever for utilities for the existing residents, an exercise room, a park, just a host of other amenities and securities. So I want to take this time to say thank you to our chair, Alicia Coleman. Thank you to Susan Stetzer, the district manager, CB3, and the elected officials, starting with Gail Brewer, Borough President Gail Brewer, Senator Brian Kavanaugh, Assemblywoman Yulene New, and especially Councilwoman Margaret Chin for being so instrumental and so extremely supportive throughout this whole process. An additional heartfelt thanks has to go to good old Lower East Side, Damaris Reyes, Lanier Smith, Elise Hightower, and Take Ruth Justice's lawyer, Paula Siegel, who navigated us to reach this goal. So in conclusion, I want to say this achievement is a testament to the fact that when we work together, we can create the futures we want to see in our community. Thank you so much again, everyone.
I want to say congratulations to you, Sandra. What a beautiful accomplishment of your hard work and your resident leaders over at Guild Houses. I'm so very proud of you all that you stuck together and you got the best contract for you. So kudos to you all. Eric, I just have one request. Is it possible to get a smaller clock? Is it possible to lower the clock a little bit? It's huge. I know it gets the point across, but I wanted to see if we can get a little smaller.
It's the clock is my fault.
Oh, okay, I'm
Let's see
sorry.
if I can get it smaller. I don't know.
Okay,
Let's see.
all right, thank you, Linda. Thank you so much, okay.
I think it doesn't resize nicely, but let's see if we can do it. Is that any better?
Okay, it's a little better, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't resize in a
That's
sensible
fine.
way.
All right, we're gonna do the best we can with what we have. Thank you so much.
Exactly.
Next, we have Eric Diaz speaking from Vision Urbana Incorporated.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Diaz, Executive Director of Vision Urbana, Inc. And I just had a couple of quick announcements to give to the board. First one being our pantry has and food security program has reached a new milestone. We have been able to deliver to date pre-pandemic in December 2019 till today, over 2 million pounds of fresh produce and food directly to the doors of our NYCHA residents and public housing residents of the Lower East Side, our homebound seniors. And so that's just a new accomplishment to let the community know we are still actively serving and providing home delivery of pantry to residents in need in the Lower East Side exclusively. And we're just here to also let the community know that we are aware that there are some pantry services that have been discontinued, but that Vision Urbana is actively ramping up our staffing so that we can meet the need of those that have been receiving disconnected services or discontinued services. And we are committed to providing any help to those who need it. You can always visit our website and fill out an application if food security is an issue, and we'll have our staff follow up. The second, and also that VU was acknowledged at the Garden of Humanitarians over the weekend. And so that was a good festival and event where the community gathered together to celebrate a new kind of reemergence of a long time standing existing garden. Also on senior services side, Vision Urbana had a great Hispanic Heritage Event Month celebration 2 Fridays ago. And so that's where we were able to provide some much needed festivities for our seniors since COVID. I will provide a link, I suppose, to a video that was done capturing the festivities. And so, yeah, that is all. Feel free to follow us on social media. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Next speaker, we have Tommy Lowe of, I don't know, Tommy, I don't know what your subject is, but go ahead, Tommy.
Sure. My subject is the Eastside Coastal Resiliency Plan. And first of all, I want to thank Trevor and the Parks Committee for taking on an impossible job. They're being asked on a monthly basis to oversee $1.5 billion project with limited time, almost no resources. So this is no criticism of Trevor and the Parks Committee. It is, however, a criticism of the Community Board, because we have been left with no transparency and no advocacy by the Community Board. We had to fight tooth and nail to get the value engineering study released. We got no help from the Community Board or any elected officials. We had to go to court and spend $15,000 to get it ultimately released. In that report is critical information which the Community Board should be examining, and it has failed to do so. I think, like other major projects, whether it was Essex Crossing or any other major project, this is $1.5 billion. It will disrupt the entire community, that we need a committee or a special committee of the Community Board to be formed to do nothing but to monitor and make sure there is transparency going forward. For example, even though after reviewing the value engineering study, the comptroller refused to sign off on the contract. He found that there were serious flaws with the minority and women-owned business part and the contractor's capability. So what happened? The mayor overrode the comptroller over his objections and just signed off on the contract. And there are many examples within this report. And I know that the borough president just sent a letter to the chair regarding all the borough president's concerns about the project. And I want to thank Ryan Lewis, who I saw was on the call, for assisting in that. But I hope that the chair shared or is going to share that letter with the entire Community Board, because they deserve to see all the issues that are confronting the board. And one other thing, because one of the promises that were made was that we would get local hiring and it would be an advantage to the community. And I just want to read you some numbers. And these are from above 14th Street, where we have the numbers now. Local hires, the Bronx, 3%, Brooklyn, 13%, Manhattan, 3%, Queens, 13%, Staten Island, 6%, Long Island, 23%, New Jersey, 18%, other 21%. So only 3% of people from Manhattan, and as far as we know, there's been one local hire.
Time's up.
Board needs to do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. Our next speaker is John Plinch of Concerned East Village Citizen.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I am a concerned citizen of LES, a father of 2 children who grew up in this neighborhood and played and rode bikes in the East River Park for 30 years. I also want on record that most of you in this meeting tonight, your neighbors, have no idea that the city is planning to totally destroy our East River Park, all the while doing this behind your back by not communicating the full scope of the destruction and pollution that is coming our way. I also want to state that as a survivor of Sandy, I'm steadfastly and wholeheartedly in favor of a robust flow control plan to protect our Lower East homes and businesses, but not at the unnecessary expense of the East River Park. The only thing giving clean, cool air to the heat desert that will become the Lower East Side if we allow our leaders to proceed with this dirty construction plan. I am also here to tell you that there is a better, less expensive, and less destructive plan that was approved by our community board in 2018, long before the mayor ran through this faulty plan while he was on the way out the door. This better flood control plan will give us much needed flood protection and preserve our very much loved and used green spaces and trees with continued access to the East River Park, which has proven so vital to this community during COVID and for decades before. I am demanding, as everyone in attendance tonight should too, an immediate independent oversight hearing to explore the heavy impact of this flawed plan. I'm going to call out by name those leaders who are sitting idly by while destruction of our park and our children's health looms. Listen up, leaders: Corey Johnson, Carlina Rivera, Margaret Chin, Harvey Epstein, Brad Hollyman, Brian Kavanaugh, Carolyn Maloney. It's your time to lead and shine and do the right thing. While Biden and Congress are set to sign a $1.7 billion tree equity bill to address the lack of trees and green spaces in our US communities, our misguided New York City leaders I just mentioned above are embarrassingly going in the exact opposite direction and planning to destroy 1,000 mature trees and green spaces in the East River Park when it is completely unnecessary to do so. Elected officials, you have the power to halt this destructive plan and implement the better flood control plan without destroying the very climate and communities that we have tasked you with protecting. Please do the right thing now.
Time's
Thank
up.
you.
Thank you. Our next speaker tonight is Daniel Roberts from El Sol Street in East 12th Street Block Association. Daniel, are you here? Daniel Roberts?
Don't see him.
Susan, do you see him?
I'm not seeing him either.
Okay, we'll come back.
You're muted. You're muted.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't even know how I got muted. The next speaker is Laura Sewell of East Village Community Coalition. Laura?
Hi, I'm Laura Sewell, the Director of the East Village Community Coalition, and I'm here to speak on a few items quickly this evening. In support of the Landmarks Committee resolution to protect our historic districts from a rush of overdevelopment, in support of the SLA Committee's guidance for applicants with the suggestion of a friendly amendment to strike the phrase, especially Avenue A and St. Mark's Place, which may unintentionally exclude other streets that are known to be equally oversaturated. And in support of the Joint Committee's resolution on the proposed outdoor dining text amendments, which thoroughly addresses both the needs of businesses and residents. A lot of people did a lot of work on this resolution. We do not believe a one-size-fits-all policy is right for the East Village. An expanded outdoor dining program will no doubt live on in some form on our commercially zoned streets and commercial overlays, but much of the commercial space on our residential side streets is grandfathered non-conforming. It can remain as long as it's consistently leased, but it cannot expand. The proposed ZTA would change that by allowing sidewalk seating on these narrow residential blocks. We believe the proposed ZTA would drive out other business types in favor of food and beverage establishments, accelerating a documented loss of retail diversity in our neighborhood over the years. Retail shops and services simply can't take advantage of sidewalk vending in the way that restaurants can. Restaurants and bars are already taking notice of this more affordable side street real estate, which isn't nearly as attractive for them without the opportunity for expanded outdoor seating. The proposed citywide text amendment would benefit only landlords in the end, who will be foolish not to charge higher rents for storefronts that offer these opportunities. Any temporary relief that the emergency outdoor dining program now affords struggling independent restaurants would soon evaporate. Thank you for the opportunity to comment, and I'm happy to answer questions on any of my statements. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. The next speaker is Samuel Zimmerman of no organization. I don't know. Okay. Samuel, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yes.
Great. Hi, thanks everyone. My name is Sam Zimmerman. I'm a resident of East Broadway and a longtime resident of CB3. I'm here to speak in support of the text amendment and the open restaurants program and to ask the board to vote no on the resolution. I had an opportunity to testify in support of the text amendment at the July joint committee meeting and have a few comments that I want to make for the full board. First is that the open restaurants program has provided immense benefits to the community, not least by turning parking spaces for a few cars into space that could be used by hundreds of people. But the sidewalk cafe program, which is what the text amendment at issue now is about, has also provided great benefit. The pre-pandemic sidewalk cafe program excluded many restaurants through unequal zoning and a lot of bureaucratic red tape. The proposed text amendment will make the program more inclusive, and it will bring New York in line with other major cities that have widespread sidewalk dining. People in this city overwhelmingly support open restaurants. Public polling has showed that 67% of people support closing streets for restaurant use. And Carlina Rivera, who has been one of the leaders for open restaurants in city council, just won her primary resoundingly. Despite these positives and despite my own support, I think everybody agrees that there have been issues with the implementation and enforcement of the program. And I know from attending community board meetings, this has been a major point of concern. I'd urge the board to be pragmatic. I think anybody following this knows which way the city is going and that a permanent open restaurants program is happening. So the question for the community board is whether it wants to be a partner in that process and work to improve the program, or if it's going to oppose and potentially have its opinions brushed aside. I was at the July joint committee meeting, and I don't think it's out of line to compare it to a mob where city officials from DCP and DOT were berated and shouted down. And those are the same people who are going to be making the decisions about the implementation of the program. So I'd like the board to consider how it could be most effective in making its voice heard and addressing the real issues that do exist. And I think that's through supporting the text amendment, which is about sidewalk cafes, voting no on the resolution, and taking the opportunity to be constructive at a later point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, and I'm going to go back to Daniel Roberts. Are you here now, Daniel?
No.
Okay. So if Daniel comes on, I'm going to ask that we allow him to speak for his 2 minutes at some point. But as of right now, we're going to move forward into our elected officials reports.
What about the?
I'm sorry? Please bear with us. Give me 1 minute, okay? I apologize, everyone. I just missed on like 3 speaker sheets, I believe. Hold on. I'm sorry.
That's another topic.
Okay, I apologize. I'm missing out on some. So we have Kate Pulse. Kate is with the 9th Street Block Association. Kate, are you here? Kate, I see your face.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, hi. I'm Kate Pulse. I'm co-chair of the 9th Street A1 Block Association and a 37-year resident of East 9th Street. I actually have the following issues with the rezoning of the city for sidewalk dining. We have a place right across the street from me, which plays outdoor music and has dining until 11 o'clock at night. I work at home. Sorry, I'm going off my notes, so let me go back to that. Noise amplified music creates untenable situations for residents, many of whom still or permanently, in my case, work from home. Sidewalks are blocked by patrons waiting for tables or hanging out deciding where to go next. Our extremely narrow residential side streets are not made for this type of dining or for the behavior of the patrons there. Many of our sidewalks are barely wide enough for strollers or wheelchairs or walkers, not to mention 2 people walking abreast. Sidewalk cafes and extra tables and chairs being used by establishments sometimes render them impassable. While many restaurants have had sidewalk cafes for a long time, with additional dining sheds and adjoining street beds, these additions often make it impassable along some stretches. Some establishments have even built entirely enclosed sheds on sidewalks outside their premises, making even wider avenue sidewalks challenging. There is also a tremendous amount more litter and rats. In conclusion, the zoning will threaten to contribute the ever decreasing retail diversity in our neighborhood and citywide. It also unfairly enables the restaurant industry over many other businesses. While I support and enjoy sidewalk dining where there's plenty of room for it, I do not believe that it should be permitted on our narrow residential side streets except where previously permitted. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Next, we have Andrew Comey. Andrew?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Andrew, we can hear you.
Hi, my name is Andrew Comey. I'm a 30-year resident of the East Village, and I'm also been on the Economic Development Committee of Community Board 3 for well over 5 years. And folks know our work there is all about ensuring retail diversity. So I would urge the board to support this resolution. I believe a text amendment that would allow sidewalk cafes on non-conforming businesses on residential side streets would be a disaster for small businesses that are trying to open in these smaller footprints. If you look at my neighbor Kate's block who just spoke, 9th Street from A to 1st, and then if you look at 1st to 2nd, you'll see why people come to the East Village to shop. You'll see a plethora of businesses ranging from thrift stores to ceramic stores to toy stores to stationery stores. One by one, those businesses won't exist anymore if sidewalk cafes are allowed on that street, because landlords will jack up the rents in hopes of getting another eating and drinking establishment. Look at other blocks in our neighborhood. I do most of my shopping for Christmas and other holidays and birthdays in our neighborhood, and I can go from street to street and get the things I need for friends and family. I would hate to see that go, and I think it would have a detrimental impact on the diversity of the economic base that's here in the East Village. Since the pandemic has resulted in several businesses closing, we've seen new businesses open left and right. On 9th Street, we've seen a bookstore. On 10th Street, we've seen a stationery store. We've seen a wash your pet yourself store, all businesses that will provide services to people who live here. We know we've got plenty of places to dine and drink, and I don't see any reason why we should allow sidewalk cafes on residential side streets that would unduly impact the retail diversity in the neighborhood. And I think as a member of the Economic Development Committee, that's part of the reason why I'm on the committee, is to help maintain the retail diversity that we have. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Dale Goodson from North Avenue A Neighborhood Association.
Yes, thank you. I'm on?
Yes, go ahead, Dale.
Okay. Yes, my name is Dale Goodson, and I'm the president of the North Avenue A Neighborhood Association, and we support the CB3 resolution on the zoning text amendment. We have an active and thriving mix of businesses on our end of Avenue A, but when bars and restaurants put tables on our narrow sidewalks next to the curb, they dominate what small amount of space there is. This increase in pedestrian density on Avenue A sidewalks warrants much more input from affected residents and Community Board 3 and more thorough planning by the city. On weekends especially, residents find themselves using the bike lanes to avoid the clogged sidewalks, and it can be extremely difficult for seniors and people in motorized wheelchairs. We support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dale. I'm going to ask now for the next three. We have 4 speakers about the same topic, I believe, here, 186 Avenue B. And so we're going to go ahead. Dale, why is your hand raised?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, thank you. The first speaker is Charlie Robbins. Charlie, are you here?
Okay,
Hey folks, sorry about that. I think my video's on. Making dinner for the kids at the same time. And my paper's in the other room, lovely. If you've walked between 11th and 12th Street on Avenue B, you know the rat infestation there. If you walk there after the hours are closed, they're running under feet. There has been very little work done by the restaurants that are there already, the bars that are there already to address this problem, including not removing or using different construction materials than sandbags. I live on 549 East 11th Street, which is right above the laundromat. We have a patio. I have a 1-year-old child. We can no longer use the patio because there is so much rat feces there. So to add another bar, another outdoor shed for these rats to nest in is just not practical. The other thing we'd like to point out is that other sheds on the block have been served with cease and desist orders from the DOT, and they have not moved them, and there has been no remediation for that. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Our next speaker is Alexis Adler. Alexis, are you here? Of the East 12th Street Block Association?
yeah,
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Alexis.
Hi, I'm speaking to deny the full liquor license to the 186 Avenue B North storefront. There was a misunderstanding. I'd like to clarify it from the last meeting. That storefront has not been licensed since 2013. I apologize, it's noisy outside. It was Pizza Gruppo, and they had a beer and wine license. After 2013, that storefront had sold T-shirts. To clarify about the rats, yes, the rats are rampant underneath the platforms, and in the backyard of that particular property, the landlord has abandoned, and the rats are it's an infestation in their backyard in 186, 188 Avenue B. We have tried to meet with these people. They have not met with us. And you have to go around to the playground and see the rats are running about in the evening in that playground. The rat feces are terrible. But I would like to just again clarify that that storefront has not had a full liquor license at all. The last time it had a beer and wine was 2013. And there was a misunderstanding at the SLA meeting. So I'd like to clarify that. Thank you. And I'd also say that the East River Park needs to be rethought, that whole destruction. Thank you very much.
Yeah, question, the clarity, 188 Avenue B is the storefront that you.
Well, no, it's 186, the north part of 186.
Okay, got it.
And they said during the last meeting that they had a full liquor license previously, when in fact they had never had one at that address.
Thank you, Alexis. I appreciate that comments. Okay, the next speaker is Kirkpatrick of East 11th Street. Kirkpatrick, are you here?
I don't see him.
Okay, and then we're gonna ask Daniel Roberts one more time. Daniel's
not here.
Okay, so that now officially concludes our public session for tonight. And now we're going to open up to our elected officials reports. And we thank them all for coming out tonight. Let's see who's in the house. I see Brian is in the house. Who else is in the house? Let's see. Isabel is here. Charlie is here. Aura's here. Victor's here. There's an elected, no, there's one. Carolyn's here, but. So I'm just gonna go down the line And Angel Rodriguez, why is your hand up? I'm sorry, who is Angel Rodriguez? You have your hand up, sir? Can you please lower your hand, sir? Thank you. Our first person to speak is Carolyn. Let me see. Congressmember Carolyn Maloney is here. Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney, I saw you. I thought I saw you. Okay. All right.
She's gone.
Yeah, maybe she'll join us again. Okay, so now I'm going to go back down the line. Mayor Bill de Blasio's office. Anyone? Andrew? Nope. Okay. Public Advocate Jamadi Williams. Philip, are you here, Philip? No. Okay. Comptroller Scott Stringer's office. Michael, are you here? Okay. Thank you. And Borough President Gail Brewer's office. Brian, you're here.
I am here, but the Borough President will be coming to give remarks. I'm going to let her know now. And if someone else wants to go first, that's fine. But she should be here in no more than 5 minutes.
Great. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. Okay, next we have our Congressmember Nydia Velasquez. I saw you, Lien.
Hi.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I'm here to just a very quick announcement from Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez's office about a career fair that the Congresswoman is holding for the community. It's on October 6th. That's next Wednesday. Well, we will be sending out email blast very soon. Oh, sorry, forgot to mention that it's virtual. It's going to be on Zoom. So we'll be email blasting the Zoom link very soon. The career fair will host, the career fair is going to be 5 hour long and be broken down into multiple sessions featuring both public and the private sectors. It's a multi-sector career fair. We welcome everybody who know anybody who might be in need of a job to help us forward the link and then encourage anybody to get on. Thank you.
Thank you. Any board members have a question? No, I don't see any hands. Thank you so very much. Our next speaker is for Assembly Member Yulaine Yu. Amy, are you here?
Yes, hi everyone, good evening. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having our office here. Yulaine extends her hellos and good health and good wishes to all of you who are attending tonight. And she wanted to continue to thank you all for your efforts to preserving the open meetings law and your dedication to the community and to the community board. No new updates from us, but if you ever need anything, please feel free to reach out to me. I put my email down into the chat, and I look forward to hearing from you all.
Thank you. Okay.
Madam Chair, this is Victor from Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney's office.
I'm about to call you right now. I just realized that you were there. And I thought Carolyn would have come back. Okay, so we're going to go backwards and we're going to go to our Congressmember Carolyn Maloney's office. Victor, go ahead.
Yes, Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney issued the following statement after the U.S. House of Representatives passed the historic Women's Health Protection Act to establish a federally protected right to abortion. Quote, today, the House of Representatives took a crucial step to safeguard the right to access abortion care in the United States. Accessing abortion has been recognized as a constitutional right for nearly half a century, yet this right is under sustained attack by anti-choice state legislatures and a hostile Supreme Court. Next week, I will hold a hearing in the Oversight Committee to examine the grave threat to abortion rights and access in Texas and across the country. Next week's hearing will show why my colleagues in the Senate must pass the Women's Health Protection Act immediately to protect the fundamental right to access abortion, regardless of a person's zip code or income. We must not go back. The time for action is now, said Congresswoman Carolina Maloney. These and other issues can be found on the Congresswoman's website at house.gov. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. And tell our Congresswoman that we really appreciate her hard work. Thank you so very much. Okay, we have Deborah Glick's office. Charlie, I saw you here.
Yes, good evening. Charlie Anderson from Assemblymember Deborah Glick's office. Two very quick announcements this evening. Just wanted to let folks know that the Assembly member did speak earlier last week, or 2 weeks ago, pardon me, at the Central Business District Tolling Program hearing hosted by the MTA. There's a number of these hearings coming up. We encourage folks to, there's a link within our board reports, and we'll also be sending that out in our e-blast this month to find opportunities to go and testify. The opportunity for Manhattan south of 60th Street was last week. However, there is still options to submit written comments if you have thoughts about the Central Business Tolling Program or congestion pricing. The second thing is to let folks know, and sometimes this gets missed, is that there's an upcoming property lien sale in the city of New York. Now, the Department of Finance compiles a list of buildings where owners have unpaid property taxes, water bills, or other charges. As a note, the Assembly member generally or frequently, oftenly is opposed to property lien sales. She feels that owners should have a right to be able to contest and keep their properties. However, there is a link within our board report. And again, we will send that out, but it can be found at the Department of Finance regarding property liens, and if a property that you may own or is in the district is is up for auction through that property lien sale. That's it from me this evening.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
And also we thank our Assemblywomen. Okay, next we
Some
have
questions.
Oh, yes, okay, yes, I see some hands. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to skip over people. Kay, go ahead, and then Val.
Charlie, I'm just wondering on the property liens, there was some discussion about the city promoting the idea of community land trusts taking over that. Is that gone anywhere?
You know, I would have to check with HPD. I remember that we submitted a quote for a press release about 3 months ago, and it's gone out of my head where we are on that. Let me look into it, Kay, and I'll get back to you. I just can't remember since it's a city thing, but I think we did pass a bill. But let me check on it.
That would be great.
Yeah.
There was a great discussion that if I can find, I'll send you about pros and cons. Anyway.
Sure.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kay. Next, Val, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Assemblymember Glick, because I thought that her statement at the, what are they calling this, Central Business District Congestion Pricing below 60th Street, that I thought it was really good that she mentioned that there should be a medical easy pass for people that live below 60th Street that need to go and get medical attention. And that I thought that was great, because I think people should not get medical attention because of the expense of getting there and getting back. So I just wanted to thank her for that.
Thank you, Val. I'll pass that along.
Okay, Olympia.
Thank you. So thank you for bringing up this tax lien sale issue. And I just wanted to understand, you said generally she opposes that, and I wanted to understand what you mean, because I know there's going to be a hearing later this week. And of course, most of us are basically for abolishing this tax lien sale, because we know that it disproportionately impacts low-income people of color. And so I want to understand, like, clearly you are for abolishing that. That's what you meant, right?
You know, that particular one, I'm not for sure. And the reason why I'm saying I'm not for sure is because regarding that particular abolition and the bill and whatever it is, I haven't spoken with the assembly member about it. So when I say generally, I have heard her say that she's opposed to a property lien tax, or pardon me, a property lien sale. She has mentioned that publicly before. And so apologies if that's the way it is. Don't read too much into the word use of generally. That is I am a staffer. Let me hedge a bet that I don't want to put words in her mouth. However, she has voted against them in the assembly in the past, any expansions of those things on the state level. And so I don't want to speak for her in terms of on the city level, but I'll ask, I'll research what that is and I can let you know, Olympia.
Thank you.
Sure, of course.
Okay, thank you so much for your questions, Olympia, and Charlie, thank you for your response. Okay, next we're going to move on to
Gail's here.
oh, our borough president is here. So let us acknowledge her and have her speak for us right now. Go ahead, Borough President Gail Brewer.
The borough president's in the attendees list right now.
Okay.
Linda, I can't move her. Can you?
I can't
No,
even.
I'm here.
Yeah, I just for your information, Susan, I've been clicking allow to talk because I can't move them either.
Okay.
Okay, our borough president is raising her hand. She's here.
Yes, I am. I can talk if you'd like me to. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'm in somebody's bathroom because I'm at a meeting. You're not going to believe this, but.
Well, thank you for taking a break to come out and speak with us tonight.
Well, it's my honor. A couple of things. First of all, wait a minute. Oh, God. Please attend. Oh, wait a minute. Am I?
Go.
What happened?
I think we lost her.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
I think we finally got her moved to panelist.
Now you can see me.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to thank you because of all the work that we've been doing on Sarah D. Roosevelt Park. I know that certainly Kate and everyone has been trying. We'll see if there is any movement on that, but that's a big one. On Eastside Coastal, we did write folks who are, who have built the project. I want to make that clear, but I do think it's important to push DDC and others on some of the issues that you know as well as I do. So you probably have a copy of that letter just to let you know I support the project, but there are always questions that need answers. Knickerbocker Village, L&M, as I said, I think L&M owns a whole city sometimes. Those tenants are fabulous. One of the things that we're going to try to do, because they have rent increases and not specifics as to what the renovations will be, et cetera, is I'm going to try to get them funding for an engineer so that they can feel confident when they walk around with the owner when he says we got to fix whatever. Is that really what's needed to be fixed? So that's one commitment that I made, not to mention other ways that we're going to try to be supportive. I think you know more about open meetings than we all do. The only aspect I want to make is obviously it could end on January 15th, number one, depending on the issue of how you communicate. If it's hybrid, I hope that what we call the OWL, which is that small device that enables us to talk virtually and in person, we're giving every community board an OWL. Congestion pricing, I testified at the first hearing. There was a second hearing. This is not going to be easy. We all want money for the subway. I think those like you who live below 60th Street are concerned. We only know so far that there's going to be a traffic mobility review board. I've made it very clear. We need a Manhattanite who has your sensibilities and understanding of community to be on that board. And we'll see what happens. I haven't heard of any appointments yet. We made that very clear to the governor. We know what came out of the legislature, but we don't know what will be in the final discussion and final agenda, just so you know. With Harvey Epstein and others, there was a DOT electric vehicle, one of your municipal garages is going to have those devices. I think it sounds fine. It's been talked about for a long time. It's just a small portion of how we're trying to make our city more climate sensitive. It doesn't take care of the whole thing. I also want to just mention that I spent hours, as you do, on nights, absolutely hours. And even today, I was dealing with one of the uptown developments and the issue of what's happening with their PAC/RAD. And I think we need to keep making it really clear to NYCHA that there are some issues that are universal for all of these conversions, and stop reinventing the wheel. It's so hard because they literally don't talk to each other. And then I won't even talk about the current issues because that's a longer story. I would like to try to get for Hamilton, for Isabel, trying to get for Hamilton Madison, as you know better than I, it's Smith Houses, the old Gouverneur site. They would like to have it for some of their programs. So I don't know if that's something that you could bring up as a community board. I certainly wrote a letter that sits empty. It seems to me on the avenue on Madison Street, it's hard to have it just sitting there with nobody in it. NYCHA has, commercial space all over the place with nobody in it. Makes me so angry. So Hamilton Madison just got a whole new grant for youth programs. They can use that space, et cetera, and gives them more visibility for the community. So I just want to mention, if you have any interest in working on that, I would love to work on it with you. And then also just every Tuesday at 3 o'clock, we have our recovery and reopening task force. Today, we had great discussions with doctors and people interested in education. I hope the schools get their stuff together. There are so many issues, it's hard to imagine. So that's about, we're always doing lots of things in terms of supporting with vaccinations and getting rid of rats and the art world, but those are the main issues that we're working on. And I want to thank you very much for all the work that you're doing. Thank you.
I'm muted. Thank you so much, Borough President Brewer. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I know you're working hard for that congestion pricing thing. I know I was there. I know. I know. Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions? I see one hand. Whose hand is that? Kay, go ahead, Kay.
I just want to thank the borough president for weighing in and helping us, especially the gift of Brian Lewis and Rosie Mendez coming to help us try to sort the unsortable. But it just makes all the difference in the world to community groups to have you keep your mind there with us. So thanks.
Thank you, Kay. Thank you to both of them also.
Val, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for the vaccine group that you do on Tuesdays at 3 o'clock. I think for most people in healthcare, most people in terms of this whole thing is that I think most people realized from the very beginning, this was going to be meds, vaccines, and masks, that is the thing that's what was going to be important. And I think even one of the ball players just recently said it, that is the issue. That is what's going to make a difference. So I really want to thank you for doing that and hope that continues, because the last thing I went to, I thought they got really honest with, we have went from pandemic to endemic. So I hope that continues so that we can get the information and ask the questions that are pertinent. So thank you very much.
Thank you for all your good questions. Yeah.
Sandra, go ahead, Sandra.
Hello, Gail. I know that you just got in. I just wanted to reiterate my thank you. I just announced about the signing of the MOU for the Grant Street Guild Residents Association with the owner and securing the affordability in perpetuity for Section 8 and the affordability for the 440 apartments that are coming. And I just wanted to thank you again for all of your support and all of your hard work with us too. Thank you again, Gail.
Thank you, Sandra. Okay, are there any other questions?
Congratulations to you, Sandra.
Any other questions for our borough president? Okay. Thank you, Gail. Have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Don't get stuck in the bathroom. Okay. Next, we're going to go back to our State Senator Brian Kavanaugh. Greer, I know you're here, Greer.
Yes, I am. Good evening.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Again, my name is Greer Mayhew. I'm a community liaison for State Senator Brian Kavanaugh's office. We do have a few updates. We'll start with the legislative ones. At the top of the month, eviction and foreclosure moratorium was extended during a special session in the state legislature. It will now expire on January 15th of 2022. This also will allow people who apply for CRAP, the Rental Assistance Program, to automatically be protected while the application is still pending. And then once tenants who are approved through the program will receive various other protections, including a year-long eviction protection. Additionally, in late August, the Senate Committee on Housing held a joint hearing with the Senate Committee on Social Services to examine the implementation of CRAP. We know early on it took a very long time for people to get their funds, and the senator was particularly concerned about that. And after that, as of I think last week, we received new numbers regarding CRAP applications and so forth. So some data here says that total number of applications that have been submitted is 215,542. Total assistance and obligated and or paid is $1.6 billion. Numbers of payments issued to landlords is over 40,000, and value of payments issued to landlords so far is 517 million. So it's looking good. And one other update was that today, it was announced that NYC ferry service will be provided to Governor's Island throughout the whole year, starting on November 1st. They will be expanding direct access from several ferry stops, including Brooklyn and Manhattan, and of course the stop at Corlears Hook in Lower East Side. The senator is very delighted about this. He actually allocated funds in the state budget this year to expand service. So this is really a good announcement. Other than that, that is all. I'm going to put my information in the chat, and if anyone needs to contact me or our office, feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Greer. Any questions for Greer? I see Michael. Michael has his hand up. Richard has his physical hand up. Go ahead, Michael, and then Richard.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I just had a few questions on housing. As Senator Kavanaugh is the chair of the Housing Committee. First, with the ERAP program, because landlords are allowed to reject the money that tenants qualify for and are awarded, we're seeing a lot of tenants who are now able to be evicted because they qualified for and received confirmation that they were awarded the money, but their landlords refused to take the payment, which means that they're not able to get the year-long stay on evictions and the rent freeze. So I'm wondering if there's any work being done to force landlords to take the money. It's kind of, it's absurd to me that landlords are rejecting money so that they can evict people. And then I also was wondering whether or not Senator Kavanaugh is supporting good cause legislation in the upcoming legislative session, and whether or not he supports ending the 421A tax exemption for luxury real estate development. We've seen a lot of fraud in that program. I used to work at HPD anymore. Massive fraud, not only with unaffordable rents, but with tenants who are experiencing violations of their lease and clauses in their lease in buildings that are receiving 421A tax benefits.
Okay, great. Sorry. So we gave me about 3 things. So regarding ending for 421A and good cause evictions, I know the senator is working on trying to create his new legislative agenda for the coming legislative session. So I don't have that information for you. I can definitely get back to you on that. And then you also talked about tenants being evicted because landlords are rejecting the relief funds that they were given. I also will have to get back to you on that as well. Unfortunately, I don't know because that is more of a legislative concern. So what I will do is I will get your information and I can directly contact you or feel free to give those answers to the board if they're interested as well.
Okay, yeah, I'll just send you my email address. Thanks.
Speaker was Richard Ropriak and then Olympia Kazi. Go ahead, Richard.
Hi. One thing that I did not hear you comment on was the senator's, whether the senator has made any statement or has testified about the congestion pricing tax. I know he's aware of it, and I'm trying to impress on you and on him the negative impact that it's going to have on many residents and businesses in the area below 60th Street. It's been discussed by the community board, and we've made our position known, and we'd like to know whether our elected officials are going to be weighing in on this, hopefully mitigating any negative impacts on us.
Definitely. Let me get back to you on that. Okay. So I don't know at this moment.
Okay. Thank you. Olympia Kazi, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not really a question. It's more like because the questions that Michael asked are very important. So please don't just answer them in an email, but at the next month's meeting, please come and share. These are very important issues for our community. So we would like to know if Senator Kavanaugh will support or not these legislations.
I will. I promise. I will. I'll have the answers for you. Thank you.
Okay, there's one more hand. Who is that from? May Lee, go ahead, May.
Hi there. Sorry. Hello. Hi. So this question is not related to housing, but it's more related to labor and the Department of Labor, and it's about the Excluded Workers Fund. So as you know, they have it's the fund for people who were unemployed last year. I mean, it's more than just that, but for those who are not eligible for unemployment. So, but this is, for those who are excluded from unemployment. So you know that they're running out of money already. And so people are still applying and the application is still open. But, now even if people are eligible and they have all the documents, they may not. They're being told they might not, get their award. So it's because it's running out of money. And I was wondering if the senator was going to weigh in on that.
I actually haven't personally heard. If you have specific people that are having issues with that, you can also forward it to our office and we can follow up on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a statewide problem. It's not just, I mean, there are, yes, so there are specific, I mean, there are people who, have, so we're talking about unemployment insurance. So now it's, it's a big issue for a lot of people. So I was wondering if you were hearing about that or he was going to weigh in on that.
Right, but the center hasn't publicly weighed in on that.
Okay, so yeah, that's a recent development from last week. So there was a lot of funds for people to apply, but now and the application, like I said, is still open. But even though people are eligible, they may not, and have applied, they might not get their award. So more money needs to be raised, but so that's something I think there's a lot of workers in our community who have applied for that. So it is of concern.
Okay, great. I will definitely let Senator know about that.
Okay, so it's the Excluded Workers Fund.
Okay, perfect. I'm writing it
Thank
down.
you. Thank you, May. I see there's, for the sake of time, Val, I'm going to ask that Val be the last question, and then we're going to move on to the next speaker because we have a long meeting tonight. Thank you. Go ahead, Val.
Yeah, okay. My thing about congestion pricing is the fact that what I want to hear is about exemptions for trucks that come into the community with food, prescribed medications, over-the-counter medications, and things like that. Because if they get a toll put on them, they're going to transfer that to the people of the community. And if you can go through this community now, you will see long lines for food. And so I really don't think that it's a good idea that the food in Lower Manhattan be more expensive than food someplace else, or medications or over-the-counter medications, et cetera, because the truck gets tolled. And the other thing I have to say I noticed today is that the number of Amazon deliveries in my neighborhood is like astounding. And that's another one to think about in terms of exemptions, because I think people are very much using these things. So I guess for me, I want to hear next month about the exemptions, especially for trucks bringing medications into the neighborhood to CVS and the other pharmacies. Thank you.
That's a good point. I will definitely let Senator know.
Yeah, I can send you the statement that I did for Power Partnership, because that was exactly it. The trucks that bring in meds, that's going to get. I'll send you the statement. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, Greer, and thank our senator as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Senator Brad Haldeman. Carolyn, you're here to speak on behalf of the senator. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, I'm Caroline Wexelbaum. I work for State Senator Brad Hoylman, and I'm dropping our board report in the chat. I will try to keep this as brief as possible. The senator also testified at the congestion pricing hearing at the public meeting. And in the board report, we go into a pretty lengthy explanation of what we said, and there's a link. And there's been a lot that's happened, I guess, since our last board meeting. We also, there was also an extraordinary legislative session that the governor called at the end of last month. There were several other speakers who talked about this, but among other things, the residential and commercial eviction and foreclosure moratorium was extended to January 15, 2022. And then also it extended there was legislation to extend the period covered by the Tenant Safe Harbor Act, which the senator sponsored, also to January 15, 2022. And that means that a court can never use unpaid rent that accrued during COVID, even after the eviction moratoria elapses, as a basis for a non-payment eviction of a financially burdened tenant. Again, the board report goes into more detail. And of course, as many of you already know, there was an amendment to the open meetings law, which allows community boards to now meet virtually, which is awesome. The senator also visited Rikers Island, and of course, like many, was appalled at the conditions. And one tangible action he is taking is he signed onto a letter to the governor to request quicker inaction of the less is more law. And what this law does is it eliminates the mandatory detention while a person's parole revocation matter is pending, and limits incarceration for technical violations of parole. And there's a piece of this legislation that went into effect already, but there are still a number of inmates who remain incarcerated. So Senator is calling on the governor to have them released quickly. A couple of other community announcements. The senator is offering a free notary service. So if you need anything notarized, he is a notary. And he will be holding a flu shot event on October 25th. That was a lot. There's a lot more in the board report. Any questions?
Yeah, Richard has his hand up.
Sure. Hi, Richard.
Go ahead, Richard.
I had to unmute, sorry. Can you give us the short version of the senator's statement on congestion pricing?
Sure. It's hard. I know that a lot of people are interested in specific exemptions, and the short answer to that is there are some exemptions that the senator certainly supports. Is there a specific one that you're thinking?
I'm thinking of the, it was commented by my fellow board member a little earlier about the impact on businesses providing health services and food to residents of this area.
Right, right. And I need to get, I heard Val's question before, and I made a note for myself already to follow up on that. The senator does support exemptions for certain income thresholds. He supports exemptions for some people who live in the central business district. So yeah, but I'll get you the answer on that for sure.
Well, because your colleague before really wasn't prepared to answer, any topic like that. But it's more or less that the people who live and work below 60th Street are trapped with this congestion pricing. And I support what Val said. It's not fair that we have to pay more for something just because you live below 60th Street as opposed to living above 60th Street. So that's my only comment. Thank you.
Well, just so you know, the senator does support an exemption for those making below $60,000 annually, an exemption for vehicles transporting people with disabilities and emergency vehicles, and a number of people who live in the central business district, and that is income-based.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, sure.
Okay, Val, for the sake of time, Val, is it possible to have, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a quick statement. I will send you my statement that I made on behalf of Power Partnership at that particular hearing, or you can actually read it in the Gothamist. They followed up, but I'll send it to you tomorrow. Thanks.
I would be grateful for that. Thank you, Val.
Thank you very much. Carolyn, thank you so much. And please thank our senator as well.
Sure. Thank you so much, Alicia.
I have to back up because I realized I skipped over Harvey, and Aura is here. Please go ahead. I see you.
Hi, everybody. It's Aura Olivaria from Assemblymember Harvey Epstein's office. So I'm going to be really quick. I know it's getting late. Harvey also went to visit Rikers and was appalled by what he saw. And it just further supports the urgency behind closing the jail. We have a statement in our report that I just put in the chat. So if you want to take a look at it, please feel free to do so. I also have a link for COVID booster eligibility on the report. So if you want to go ahead and look on there and see if you're eligible, you can do that. We also attended Baruch Family Day. which was really well attended, and we're happy to have been a part of it. We also attended Community Land Trust, This Land Is Our meeting this past month, where a group of community members and advocates and Cooper Square are advocating for a NYCHA lot on East 6th Street. And they are really seeking support from the community and have started a petition and are holding meetings to help explain what a community land trust is. And so if you're interested and you want more information, I have a small blurb on the community board report with an email for Valeria Orselli, who you can contact for more information. We also have a couple of Hang with Harveys that are coming up. And so those are on the community board report. And I just want to remind everybody to apply for the emergency rental assistance program if they haven't already. And we also have information about that on the report and the Excluded Worker Fund. So if you have any questions or concerns, I'd be happy to answer them. I don't have anything right now on congestion pricing. I thought we wrote a statement about it, but I can't seem to find it. My computer's a little slow. So.
Thank you, Aura. I just want to also thank Harvey for his hard work. Richard, for the sake of time, is this a personal question? Is this a question you've already asked?
Yes, it is a question I've asked, and Aura seems to indicate I know Harvey it was discussed with Harvey at prior community board meetings. So I'm a little surprised that there is nothing available from Harvey concerning congestion pricing. Please remind him of that and the importance of that.
That's not what I said. What I said was that I thought we had a statement, but I couldn't pull it up right now. But I'd be happy to report it back for the next meeting or send it to the community board for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Aura. Okay. Next, we have Councilmember Margaret Chin's office. Kana, are you here?
Hi, I'm here. Thank you. Okay, so I'll be super quick. First of all, thank you. Great to see everyone. Margaret says hello. So this morning we had the pleasure of joining the mayor and Trust for Governor's Island, who we've worked very, very closely with through Margaret's term, that it is going to be open year-round starting November. And we're very happy that the ferry service will be expanded also into Councilmember Carlina Rivera's office. Also, something we partnered with Councilmember Rivera and other colleagues in the council is a big bill package that helps delivery workers. And we think that's so important. They are essential workers. They helped us get through the pandemic, and we are finally passing legislation that will create transparency in how they're paid through third-party apps. And it's also good for consumer knowledge too, but it gives the workers a breakdown of like how the percentage of how many tips they get, and like it gives them the liberty to choose like the distance that they are going to drive or bike for each delivery, etc. So we're really excited about that. Margaret also chaired a hearing. She's a chair of aging, and she chaired a hearing about Get Food New York City, and she talks about homebound seniors and advocates for them as much as she can. And we're really pushing the administration to understand that just because senior centers are open now, it does not mean that homebound seniors will be able to get those meals. They still have to receive services pre-pandemic, if not even more. So that was a great hearing. We got a lot of information from the administration. We also have been filing some LSs, hoping to get those over the finish line before the end of session. One in particular that we're fighting for is about light pollution. We've heard a lot from our constituents about that. So we're doing as much as we can there. And lastly, we had a press conference today at 174, 184 Forsyth Street. This is a building that is for deaf and hard of hearing constituents. It's a special needs population. They have been just pushed aside by management. I think that's like the 5th press conference we've had in a calendar year at these buildings because the landlord has not taken care of it, and it's just honestly in like horrific condition. So we're making sure that our colleagues at the state and federal level, like making sure that we can all work together and get them the money that they desperately need. And we've made, you know, HPD and DOB has both been there to inspect. And then lastly, we are going to be penning a letter, or we have written a letter, and thank you, Greer. It's specifically about the cabaret unit, highlighting the great work the 7th Precinct has done in the absence of this cabaret unit, and asking the mayor to reinstate that, because we all know that the parties that happen in the summer don't necessarily stop once fall starts. And we know that's a very big quality of life issue for our constituents in CB3. So hoping to get an official answer on that too. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Kana. Lee, I see your hand, but is this a question that can be asked to Margaret's office separately for the sake of time?
I'll make it very quick. It's actually
sure. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, and thank you, Kana. And we really, the community really appreciates Margaret's effort to open up the island year-round. The problem is low-income, moderate-income, and middle working-class families aren't going to be able to afford the trip. You know, a family of 4 is going to have to pay $22 to get to the island. The back, a family of 6, $33. So is Margaret planning on doing anything to make the trip actually accessible and affordable, especially for the low-income folks of the community? Thank you.
Sure, I'll definitely look into that. I'll put my contact information in the chat. I know that she specifically has bought EDC on this, and she wanted to make them free, you know, for these target populations you mentioned, especially older folks who live on a fixed income. I will get back to you, although I don't think that that's something the administration is going to move on. Yeah, but they're the cost of the subway ride, which is pretty inexpensive given that it's a ferry.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your question, Lee. Auda, your hand is up. Are you asking a question of Margaret's office? Okay.
No, sorry. I just wanted to let you know, I put a response for congestion pricing in the chat. So whoever wants to take a look at it can do so.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Susan, I did see your hand was up before. Did you lower it or
I lowered it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. The last speaker for tonight from our elected officials is our council member, Carlina Rivera. Isabel, I saw that Isabel was here before. Oh, there she is. Okay. Hi, Isabel.
Hi there. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience. Nice to see you. I have 3 main updates to share from Councilmember Rivera's office. The first being that the council member was really thrilled to join community members and AFI today to kick off renovations at the LES cluster site in District 2 and CB3. It was very exciting. And tomorrow the council member will be celebrating the start of the construction and renovation of 80 Pitt Street during the Grand Golden Sledgehammer event with Grand Street Settlement, which is also a huge improvement for the community, really exciting. In terms of legislation, I believe Kana mentioned that we were really proud to have legislation supporting and protecting delivery workers and their essential rights and dignity. Councilmember Rivera's bill in particular focuses on ensuring bathroom access for delivery workers. We know that delivery workers kept our city fed, did not stop working throughout the entire pandemic, and it's critical that our city recognizes that and treats them accordingly. We also have a vaccine equity hearing coming up this Thursday with a particular focus on community health and CBO partners. So we really welcome testimony from folks in the community, whether you can join live, you can also submit written testimony at a later date. And we also held a hearing last week on resident well-being at the health and hospital system in the city. And we're focusing on some really exciting pieces of legislation for the fall, and we'll also be focusing on abortion care access. And finally, in case anyone is looking for a fun Friday night activity, the Movies Under the Stars program is back in District 2, and this Friday at 7 o'clock at the Henry M. Jackson Playground. There will be a viewing of Avengers: Infinity War. For those of you who like that movie or want to see it, Carlina and the team will be there. So I'll post my contact info and details about the event in the chat. Thank you so much. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Isabel, and thank you to our council member, Carlina Rivera. Okay, let's see. We have one person from the district attorney's office, and I do apologize because I don't see his name.
She's there. She's there.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, okay.
Hi,
Go ahead.
Alicia.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you. Good. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'll keep it very short. I want to share with you our incoming Art of Healing event. The Art of Healing event is for the young people to create arts to heal and express themselves. We provide food, music, dance moves, and mural painting. And this year, we plan to have the event in both East Harlem and Lower East Side. The East Harlem one is this Saturday, October 2nd, from 12 to 4 p.m. in East 106th Street between Lexington and 3rd Avenue. And I will share more information about the Lower East Side one next month. Please come join us. And 2nd October is the National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Our office provides presentation on the criminal justice process in domestic violence. The presentation are conducted by a specialized assistant district attorney, along with the advocate from the Witness Aid Service Unit. The presenter will explain and answer questions on the criminal justice process in domestic violence cases, as well as provide resources for victims or survivors. If you are interested, I'm gonna share how to request in the chat, and or you can reach out to me directly. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I believe that that is going to conclude our elected officials report for tonight. And we're going to rapidly move into our roll call and approval of minutes for June of 2021. Thank you.
Okay, David Adams. David Adams, okay. Absent. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, you're on Altman. You're on? Okay, absent. Jesse Beck.
Here.
Okay. Lee Berman.
Yes.
Carlin Chan.
Here.
Okay.
Here.
Got it. Jonathan Chu. Okay, absent. David Crane.
Here.
Okay. Eric Diaz. Yes. Alistar Akinamakis. Okay. Jamie Felber.
Here.
Jamie, okay. Shirley Fennessy. No. Ryan Gilliam.
Here, yes.
Okay. Deborah Glass.
Here,
All right.
yes,
Oh, okay.
here.
Got you. Andrea Gordillo.
Here.
Okay. Danielle Hernandez. Danielle. Okay. Herman Hewitt.
Here.
Herman Hewitt. Trevor
Here.
Holland. Got you, Herman. Trevor Holland.
Kenyelle somehow got in the attendees and she's raising her hand.
I see you, Kanyelle. I got you. Okay. Linda Jones.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Valentina Jones.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Tatiana Jorio.
Yes.
Okay. Lisa Kaplan.
Here.
Okay. Olympia Kazi.
Yes.
Jeanette Kim.
Here.
Okay. Michelle Cooper Smith.
Present.
All right. May Lee.
Yes.
Wendy Lee.
Yes.
Okay. Alicia Lewis Coleman.
Yes.
David Louis. David, all right. Laura Lugo.
Present.
Okay. Ellen Lou or Lowe. Ellen? No, okay. Michael Marino.
Present.
Okay, got you. Alexandra Militano. Okay. Michael Perlis.
Present.
Got you. Tariq Ramos.
Yes.
Okay. Paul Rangel.
Present.
Paul, all right. Damaris Reyes.
Yes.
Got you. Richard Ropiak.
Present.
Okay. Tomas Rosa.
Present.
Okay. Robin Chattel.
Yes.
Okay. Heidi Schmidt. Heidi. All right. Larissa Scheinberg. Okay, I see you, Heidi. All right. Anisha Stephen.
Oh, Heidi also got into the attendee list. I don't know how.
Yeah, I got her. I got Heidi. Anisha Stephen? No? All right. Sandra Strother.
Yes.
Okay. Daniel Kaino.
Yes.
Okay. Josephine Velez.
Yes.
Okay. Troy Velez. Troy?
Here.
Okay. Rodney Washington.
Here.
Okay. Kathleen Webster.
Here.
Jackie Wong. Jackie Wong. Ricky Wong.
Yes.
Okay, got it. That's it.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. Okay, so now we're going to go right into the board's reports. Just a few things, just to, yes, Olympia, yes.
Hey there. So I had a parliamentarian question. I think there was some confusion because at the beginning, Eric announced that this was also a vote for the minutes.
Yes,
That's why
I
we
agree
say
with you. I heard a lot of people saying
they
yes.
here or
yes,
present.
we're here, right. This was also for the approval. Thank you, Olympia, for pointing that out. Yes. Many of you were commenting here, but it was for the approval of June's minutes as well. So were your here's supposed to be yeses? David, go ahead.
I believe that we do not actually take votes on approval of minutes. We always had historically, but recently it was discovered that there's no such thing as approval of the minutes.
Okay, got it.
There can be, changes can be made and there's a brief moment to do that, but there's no vote procedure for that. It's so confusing. I'm so sorry.
Thank you, David, for clarification. Appreciate that. All right, so really quickly, I want to wish everyone a happy Hispanic Heritage Month for the month of September going into October. I also want to wish happy holidays to our Jewish community members and board members. Happy New Year to everyone. And I believe there's 2 holidays back to back from last night and tonight. So I know they're quite busy and dealing with family. So if we have board members that are not here tonight, we know that they are taking care of their family. So I want to thank Kenyelle for, she's one of our newly appointees. She honored our community board and other organizers and activists in the area this past weekend. And Susan, myself, Paul, Eric, and Maylee were able to be present at this event. It was really a very cool event, seeing the whole community come out, and I learned a bunch of stuff about how some of our activists got started on the Lower East Side. It was really great. Also, I want to encourage everyone to attend October's committee meetings. We have a bunch of things that are going on that really need your attention, so please try to be present at all of our upcoming committee meetings, everyone. Please support our community refrigerators, as we see that there is a food deprivation still yet going on. Even the schools have stopped serving meals to our community members, but there are other organizers out there, and there are still some people that are still doing the work in the field. And I want to thank all of them, Eric, especially Vision Urbana, for definitely doing this hard work, and all the other organizers that are out delivering food to our community. I want to make an announcement that we have convened the nominating committee. They will be getting to you shortly as to what the procedures will be for this nomination, and they will be sending out an email to all of you on the full board. So be on the lookout for that. So right now we have 4 members, David Crane, Tariq Ramos, Linda Jones, and Andrea Gardello. So we will get back to you as soon as possible and let you know more about that. So that concludes my report for tonight. Any questions for me?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Robin.
Well, I was on the nominating committee and I guess now I'm not on it. I wasn't aware of that.
It's not a automatic thing from year to year. You are on it for that year or that moment. So this is to allow other people to get an opportunity to serve on the nominating committee. So we rotate. I try to rotate the membership on that. So this is an opportunity for some of the newer members to get involved. But thank you so much, Robin, for your service on.
You're very welcome, although David Crane's not a new member, but it would just be nice to know.
No, he knows more about the electoral process of it, so that's why I asked him to sit on it.
It would just be nice to. It would just
Thank
be
you.
nice.
I'm not going to engage in further conversation now. We can have a conversation after.
I'm sorry. I'd like to finish my thought. It would be nice to just be known. Hey, thanks a lot for doing it. It'd be nice to be notified.
Thank you, Robin. Okay. Lastly, I'm sorry. I just want to back up a minute because I did not acknowledge, and I really want to acknowledge the office, specifically Susan and the office for the hard work that they have just done on the text amendment. It has been a tremendous amount of work, and I know we're about to get into it. So I just want to acknowledge them first things first. Okay. Appreciative. Okay, now we're going to go into the district manager's report. Susan, go ahead.
Thank you. I want to report on 2 things this month. First, for new and newer members, is service delivery process, which is making complaints. We need members to report complaints to ensure that we know what needs to be fixed all over the district. The best way to do this is to file a complaint form, which is on the website, as it walks you through questions to answer. You can also just email the office. Recently, the most common complaints are restaurants not following guidelines, loud unpermitted concerts, rats, garbage, many things like this. The office has a spreadsheet we review twice a week. For some agencies, such as DOT, we speak every other week to follow status. And we're required by city charter to have an interagency meeting once a month with local agencies to review service delivery complaints. If a complaint is not emailed to us, it's not in the spreadsheet, not followed up. And also we have agencies such as sanitation constantly reaching out to us for problem areas. So if we don't know, we can't report, so we need your help. The other issue is the district needs statement and budget priorities. In October, each committee and the full board will vote on budget priorities and the district needs statement. The statements were all completed, so they just need the vote, but each committee will need to decide budget priorities and rank them. They will then be collated into one list and the full board will vote. The community boards just finished meetings by borough. Each borough met with agencies, hosted by Office of Management and Budget. And it was district managers and committee chairs along with the agencies and OMB. We submitted budget questions in July, and at the meetings reviewed answers. You can read all the minutes and all the questions and answers on our website. It's under Member Resources, Fiscal Year 23 Budget Consult Answers and Minutes. This is for Fiscal Year 23, which will start in July 2022, and we'll have 40 capital priorities and 25 expense. The capital are easier. They're generally park reconstruction or street or library reconstruction. Expense is generally staffing and programs. We do not vote for the most important or popular programs. We vote for programs that are important to our district that need funding. If a program is fully funded, we would not waste a priority on it. And we also vote on priorities that have been part of the budget consult research. And we'll be discussing all this much more thoroughly in the committee. So thank you. If there's no questions, that's it.
Thank you, Susan. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move forward. Committee reports, executive. Okay, we have nothing to report on executive. SLA.
Hi, thanks, Alicia. So I just want to say thank you to the SLA committee for all of your continued dedication to the work that we do. We met in August when I think almost all the other committees were off. So we're actually voting on resolutions from August and September. In August, we heard 12 applications. We had 1 denial, and the remaining 11 applicants signed their stipulations. In September, we heard 8 applications. 7 signed their stipulations. So the one that did not, which was number 2, Trey, they did not sign because they objected to our stipulation that they must close their outdoor dining at 10 p.m. This is a stipulation that we've been adding to all applicants since the city allowed open restaurants to go to midnight, which was never something that happened in CB3. 10 p.m. has always been the max time that we allowed outdoor dining. So for that resolution, we'll change that to a denial rather than a denial of stipulations. I would also like to offer a friendly amendment to say why we denied it, which is the explanation that I just gave. I believe Thomas or Eric, you have that draft change. Go ahead, David.
I was going to say second.
Okay, thank you. Eric, do you mind just pulling it up, or David, do you think we need to, if it's the friendly amendment essentially, we denied this because the applicant did not or objected to our stipulation asking for a 10 p.m. closed outdoor dining, which is standard in CB3 for our residential and mixed use communities. We wanted to add that in case the applicant decides to go to the state SLA committee to fight for that. And Susan will and potentially myself would go and say, this is why we want the stipulation, and ask for the state to put that stipulation on if they so decide to approve this application. Are there any objections to that friendly amendment?
No one made a motion. David seconded before anyone made a motion.
Well, she said that she's amending it.
I made a friendly
to
amendment
do that.
and David seconded it.
Can I just ask a question? I'm sorry. This is for item 2, correct?
Yeah, Trey, 173 Ludlow. Yep, no problem. And then for SLA item number 23 from September, which is the guidance to applicants, just after the meeting, I thought that something to make it stronger would be in the first bullet, instead of for applications subject to the 500-foot rule previously unlicensed, we would say for applications subject to the 500-foot rule that do not show public interest. I'll put that in the chat so you guys can all see that. The reason why is because public interest is a legal standard that the SLA uses when granting new licenses. So we thought that it would be helpful to add that. So if anyone has any objections, please let me know.
I don't have any objections, Michelle. I just want to be clear. Are these corrections, are they going to be emailed to me, or are we going to do that?
Oh, I thought Thomas forwarded it to you.
I do
Thomas
have
has the first one, not the second.
Yes, one. Yeah, I have one.
Okay, I'll forward them to you.
Okay.
Lisa
Okay.
Kaplan has her hand up, Michelle.
Yep, Lisa, go ahead.
Yeah, can I just ask a little bit? I'm a little concerned about the statement of the policy statement. I just want to get a little bit, I'm concerned that maybe this could be construed. I don't think this is the intention, but that, for instance, we might be challenged if we were to deny a license for a different reason, because we say in there we would deny for, only one reason. What if we deny, as in the case tonight, for an operator that doesn't have a good record? I just worry that having such a short and limited statement could be misconstrued as being, a comprehensive statement.
Sure. So the point of this, the intent of this guidance is to Susan can speak to this, but she receives and, we'll receive questions to the office, like, how likely am I to get approved here, for example? And so something that we've been talking about for a while is how we can, and also we, at least as I'm sure you know, you get applications that come through to the committee that are, unlikely to be approved, not saying that's a moratorium or anything. We're not allowed to have a moratorium, but just as we say in here, generally, or unlikely, right? And so the idea with the guidance was to say, this is a guidance to applicants, right? Like, before you consider a space, we would like you to think twice before applying for a previously unlicensed space, unless there's some sort of public interest that you can prove. So that was the intent of the.
Would it be possible to add something to say, these are not the only reasons why, or to make it more, I haven't crafted language, but I guess I'm concerned that someone could come back and say, but you denied me. It's not in your policy, but you denied me for a different reason, and we could be criticized for not having a more comprehensive look at it.
Yeah, well, I just, I'll let Susan speak after me, but there's a multitude of reasons why we might deny.
Right,
somebody.
but it doesn't say that.
It's impossible to list them all.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think that
Lisa, make an amendment with precise language.
So if
It'll help if you make an amendment with precise language.
Susan, go ahead. Thank you. Susan, go ahead.
We deny for a lot of reasons, but they may not be our policy. They're more case by case. And this is a policy that's actually beneficial to applicants as well as the community board, because they'll save money by knowing not to even apply for these places. The other places can always be denied, but that's not a policy that everybody knows ahead of time.
But it doesn't say, David's right, I should think of wording, and I'd like to pull that, and I will craft some language.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. Deborah, go ahead.
So this is somewhat inconsequential, but I just wanted to clarify something on SLA item number 19.
Okay.
19 in August.
19 in August. Okay.
Whereas number 1, 2, 3, 4. Whereas number 5. I have a question about GEM at 116 Forsyth Street. You have them listed as having a full on-premise liquor license. I don't believe they do. I think they're beer and wine only. I know that it's not a major item, but I don't want to.
Sorry, what's the address again? Say it again.
Item 19.
Yeah.
August. Whereas number 5. It says, whereas one of the applicants is currently licensed at GEM at 116 Forsyth with a full on-premise liquor license.
Oh, I see.
I do not believe that they have a full license. I believe they're wine and beer only. You might, I could be wrong. It's going to be really new, but as of yesterday, they did not have a full, when I walked by, they only have beer and wine.
Okay, I'll double check that, but we pull our information from the SLA website, so I'll look. It might, just because they're not displaying it doesn't mean they don't have it. So, but I'll take a look.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll just hold for now if Lisa has any suggested language and we can come back.
Yeah, give me some time.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Michelle, that's it for you, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
move on.
thank you. Until we get back to, from Lisa. Okay, thank you, Michelle. And thank you to the committee for working through August. I want to now call on, I know landmarks did not meet.
Oh, no, we did meet.
Okay. Land use did, and so you're
Land
giving.
use did not
Wait,
Oh, I'm sorry, land use did
You have
not
it
meet.
backwards.
Landmarks.
Landmarks met.
Landmarks met. We have a resolution.
Landmarks met, land use did not meet. Thank you, Linda. Go ahead.
Correct. Sorry. Confusing, huh? Those two sound too much alike. Yes, the Landmarks Committee approved a resolution. Basically, it's asking the Landmarks Preservation Commission to be more careful about approval of inappropriate buildings within historic districts. And there have been a couple, well, the main egregious example of this didn't occur in our community board. It occurred in Community Board 1, where they approved a tower at 250 Water Street in the middle of the South Street Historic District, which is basically no more than 4 stories high. And they approved this gigantic building in the middle. And that is inappropriate in a historic district. And we're asking them to be more careful about that.
Yeah.
Questions?
Thank you. Any hands, any questions for Linda? Okay. Thank you, Linda. Are you, yeah.
I might as well do land use while I'm at it, right? We did not
Yeah,
meet.
please go ahead.
Yeah, land use did not meet.
Oh, I see Paul's hand. Go ahead.
Sorry, I had trouble
Oh,
getting
Paul.
my hand up. Sorry, Linda. Just a quick question. I know I asked this question of you at exact as well. It was other community boards that are doing a similar type of resolution for landmarks. And this specific thing that he was asked of other boards, if I read that correctly, in,
Yes.
in the resolve clause.
Our last, therefore, be it resolved, says CB3 invites other community boards and organizations to adopt this or similar resolutions. And we'll, CB1 invited us to do so, and we did so. And we're passing it along.
Did you know if it was just CB1 or was there another board as well?
I don't know of any others. I would expect CB2 to do it.
Okay, thank you.
I'll get back to you on that. I should actually go out and survey.
Don't worry about it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure. I think you're up, Paul.
Yes, you are. So don't disappear. Go ahead, Paul, and the floor is yours.
I thought I got away with it. All right. Okay. So I'm just commenting on transportation's regular agenda for September. So we passed Go Bus Tour Inc. Bus application. So the second bus applications come to us in the past couple months. So I'm starting to I don't know if it's going to be a trend of bus applications coming in, but we did pass that resolution. Also, there's a street co-naming for Avenues for Justice, formerly known as the Andrew Glover Youth Program. They will be conamed Avenues for Justice Way on Avenue B between 6th and 7th Street, where their center is located. I believe some of their staff members are on the call tonight as well. So we did pass that resolution for the street co-naming. UA3 also came to us asking for a loading zone. We did not go forward with a resolution because we were lacking some information from DOT, and there was just a lot of things that we had more questions than we had answers. So we pushed them back 1 month in October. So that's all I'm commenting on right now. I know there's some other stuff we're going to be discussing later on. So any questions about the current transportation agenda from September? Questions, comments, concerns, jokes, poems, lyrics? On to the next committee. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Paul. The next economic development did not meet, but is there a report from Andrea? Because even though economic development did not meet, Tarika, you gonna say something? No? Okay, no. All right, we're gonna go.
Everyone.
Okay.
I can give a super quick report.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, super short. Our committee met last month to discuss a town hall The committee is charged with, the subcommittee is charged with organizing an annual town hall. And we will be organizing this for early December, and we will be sure to share that with everyone. And we'd love to see board members and other members of Community Board 3 at large come and discuss issues pertaining to the cultural community at large. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Andrea. Next, we have Parks. Trevor. Trevor, are you here? Where's Trevor? Susan, do you see Trevor?
No. I don't know what happened to him.
This is Kay.
Okay, Kay. Thank you, Kay. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's not much to report. We just had updates from DDC for the Eastside Coastal Resiliency on trees and bioswales, Pier 36 vessel operations, but no minutes. I mean, no
resolutions.
Resolutions. Thanks.
Thank you, Kay. Appreciative. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. There's a huge party going on outside in front of me. Okay, Health, Seniors, and Human Services, May.
Hi. So I don't have anything to report from last month because we don't have anything for you to vote on, but I just wanted to highlight for next month, we have, we always have very exciting agenda items, but next month we have some particularly exciting items. Besides the budget priorities, we also have a speaker from the New York City Racial Justice Commission. So that they're being given authority as like a charter revision commission and looking at charter revision, from the focus of racial justice, promoting more racial justice and equity. So it'll, and I understand that they are having, they've been having a lot of meetings, but there's also some public engagement sessions that are coming up. So we're going to learn more about their work and also how, we and community members can participate in that. And then the other thing that we're going to, other organization we're going to hear from is AFI, the Asian Americans for Equality. They're requesting support for a Safe Horizons shelter in Chinatown on East Broadway. And it's going to be a shelter with Asian language capacity. So that'll be really exciting because if any of you serve Asian clients, they have little capacity as it is.
Thank you, May.
That's the end of my report.
Thank you, May. I appreciate that. Lisa, are you back for language change?
Yes. I was about to type it in the chat, but I would add right before the bullets, the following points are advisory, but applicants should be aware that CB3 reviews each application based on its individual circumstances and numerous criteria, and will make its determination on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, can you put it in the chat, Lisa?
Surely.
Thank you. Susan, go ahead.
Okay, Susan can, and
yeah,
then
I think
saw
that's
Olympia.
actually, I think what Lisa's saying is the opposite of what this is saying, because we're saying this is a policy where all of them will not be approved, and it would be legal because it would fit in with the 500-foot rule. Maybe you could use Lisa's language and say, in addition to the policy below, and then use her language. Because we're not reviewing these on a case-by-case basis. I mean, they're each being heard, but we're saying, what we're saying to applicants is you shouldn't bother applying because we're generally not going to approve in these situations. And it goes along with the 500-foot rule, which makes it legal.
Okay, Lisa, do you mind? I haven't seen it in the chat yet, just so we can all see it. David, go ahead.
These are guidelines. They do not tie our hands. So it is not a policy saying this is how we are going to vote.
Yeah.
That is something that we would actually get us in trouble again. I'm not sure that Lisa's language is strictly necessary because I think that it kind of is implied, but I also, once I see it, I don't really have objections to her language.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say in answer to Susan's point that the first one might be the 500-foot rule, but the other two really aren't. The other two are not specific.
Correct, you are correct.
So I really can't agree with you, Susan, unfortunately.
Susan,
So,
I see your hand. Michelle, do you see that Olympia has her hand up too?
Yeah, but I think Olympia was asking about Health and Human Services, not about SLA.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Wait, Olympia, is about SLA or about Health and Human Services?
So I had my hand up for Health and Human Services, and I would like to speak to that later. But I also wanted to speak to what you're discussing right now. My concern is actually that this thing, the third paragraph, is saying, it states the obvious that we adhere by zoning, etc. I mean, we are a law-abiding body.
No, but Olympia, you'd be very surprised by how many applicants come in and have no idea that what they want to do does not align with the zoning. We just had it happen last week. Like that's Susan's point, is we're trying to give this as like here's a takeaway that we can give you, like, these are the things that you should be aware of when you're applying for a space. Like you'd be very surprised. We have so many applicants that come totally, oh my God, I had no idea I can do scheduled performances or whatever, when that's their whole concept, like, and the zoning doesn't allow it. And then it falls on us to do it. So we're trying to put that burden back on the applicants. That's what the point of this guidance is.
Susan?
Yeah, I can't raise my hand because I'm in the Zoom because I'm a co-host. First of all, to example or to build on what Michelle just said, actually most community boards are not aware of these zoning issues. CD2 is, but most of them aren't, and they don't follow zoning guidelines. And because of that, SLA applicants are used to not following them. So most SLA people aren't that knowledgeable about that. I would like to go back to the 500. It'll be my last time. Lisa's very correct. My issues that I was talking about actually applied only to the first bullet point. It won't get us in trouble because it is strictly saying that we're following the 500-foot rule. But I do think that is, and I agree totally with what David said. None of this is tying our hands for anything. What it is it's giving guidance to be helpful to businesses, to not spend money on trying something in that in those locations. It'll also be helpful to us because it just mean less work for us if we follow it.
Thanks, Susan. Lisa, I'm still not seeing the.
I'm still typing. I'm almost done.
Oh, okay.
Just give me a moment, please.
Sure.
So while we're waiting, we're going to go ahead and move forward. Olympia, your question that was from Maylee. What was the question, please?
So I just wanted to make a point about the school reopening and how tragic it has been in many ways. And the fact that there is really insufficient testing, it's only 10%. And so I would urge the committee to look into that issue and maybe do a resolution, because we need more testing.
Thank you, Olympia. Okay, now we're going to go into some meat and potatoes. Here we go. The joint land.
Hold on, Alicia, can we just finish with SLA?
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks. Okay, so Susan, would you propose saying, in addition to the below, like, what did you propose adding to Lisa's amendment?
In addition to the policy below, and then all her language.
Policies below, which are advisory.
Or actually, she's right. It's only the one policy. It's not all 3 bullet points. It's only the first bullet point.
Okay. So I think it's fine to say the following points are advisory. Well, they're not advisory, actually.
Everything we do is advisory.
But is the point advisory? Lisa, do you mean advisory to whom?
To the applicant.
Okay.
Oh.
But the thing is that at least bullet 3 is not really advisory, it's legal.
Well, it's advising them of the legal.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna say the following points are advisory. Okay, what Lisa said. Are there any objections to adding this amendment?
I object. It's really duplicative of what the first sentence of the resolution reads.
Okay.
It seems
All
like
right.
it's something we don't need to hedge.
Okay, so David, we need to do a roll call vote, right?
We can do a show of hands if it's pretty overwhelming. I was going to say that, do we really need the phrase and we'll make its determination on a case by case basis? Can we just, we wanted this to be super brief, Lisa, and approachable. And I wonder if you're going to say the following points are advisory, but applicants should be aware that CB3 reviews each application based on its specific circumstances and numerous criteria. Really, I don't know that this does what you were hoping to do, Lisa, which I generally supported, to make it clear that we consider other things, but the following are definitely going to be considered. I don't know if this is helpful, Lisa. I don't know that it does that. What it really needs to say is that CB3 reviews each application based on its specific circumstances and numerous criteria, but we consider the following points carefully, or something like that. CB3 reviews each application based on its specific circumstances and numerous criteria. I think that's excellent, Lisa. The center of what you've written does say that there's other things, but the following criterion are considered carefully. Susan fields all these questions. Michelle, do you have a tight sentence? I'm going to offer this as an amendment.
I just put it in the chat.
Okay.
Criteria.
I'll start with this, like blah, blah, blah. And then what do we say after that? But the following points, I don't know, they're important. Maybe we can restate something from previous.
But the following points are considered carefully.
That sounds right to me. What do you think, Lisa?
Yeah, I can live with that.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to ask, so David, I'm going to ask again for any objections to this amendment, right?
Sure.
Okay, are there any objections to this amendment as posted in the chat, the most recent one from me?
Me in the sense that I think what you guys are trying to say is not that you don't consider the other things carefully, but what you want to say is the following are issues frequently like emerging, or like what you want to say, these are 3 things that you need to make sure you check. These are very common problems that we see, or something.
That's what we say. So I personally think that adding anything is duplicative. Like we carefully considered this at committee, and it says
just not call it a guidance. If you don't call it a guidance, then Lisa's problem maybe doesn't emerge. Just call it what it is. That is frequently
asked questions,
something like that. That's what it sounds like. You are saying.
Frequent problems.
Frequent problems. Yeah, because guidance is what I think Lisa is fairly saying. It's confusing.
Okay, so like community board number 3 offers the following common issues faced by liquor license applicants to consider.
I'm actually fine with what it is. I'm going to object to this further amendment.
Okay, so
which isn't an amendment, there was discussion. So, if you will call on me.
Right, but aren't we still considering Elise's amendment right now?
And I
technically.
objected.
Oh, that's true. I was going to call the question, but you know,
So I
things aren't
said,
stated as amendments.
so what
Okay.
I asked was, are there any objections to the most recent thing I posted in the chat? Olympia said yes. So Olympia, let's not consider any other amendments at the moment. We're only considering this amendment, right, David?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so there's an objection to this, so we can do a show of hands. Do you, okay, right, David?
I withdraw my objection.
Okay, well, are there any objections? Okay, well, are there any objections to this amendment?
I object. Again, I still think it's duplicative.
Okay, all right, okay. So, all right, so everyone put your hands down, Zoom hands. If you object to this amendment, put your Zoom hand up, please.
I'm sorry, did you say if you object or if you approve?
If you object to this amendment, please put your hand up.
Backward. Well, votes should always be taken in the positive. If you're voting yes, okay, I'm sorry.
If you object to this amendment, please put your hands up.
The vote should be on if you approve this amendment. I'm serious. You're introducing a double negative.
Okay, everyone put your hands down, please. Put your Zoom hands down. We're gonna start again because it is almost 9 o'clock. Everyone put your Zoom hands down, including me. Okay, everyone's hand is down. If you support this amendment, please put your Zoom hand up. Okay. All right, if you support this amendment, please put your Zoom hand up. 1, 2.
I can't put my hand up, Michelle.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But count me in as a 1. My little brown hand is up.
All right, you're throwing me off, Alicia. Sorry, I have to recount now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Michelle, it's 24. Sorry to interrupt, but it's
Thank you.
When you're in
Do we
the
know how
group.
many people are present? Okay, there's only 40. Okay, so that means that the amendment passes. Thank you. Thank you, Michael, for counting. Okay, everyone can put their Zoom hands down. All right, I'm done. Thank you. Move on to text amendment.
So wait a minute. So wait. So what do we?
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you, Eric.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, we're gonna take everyone's hands down. Thank you. Lower. Okay, very good. All right, now here's the meat and potatoes of tonight's meeting. So I hope you're all comfortable. I'm gonna hand this over to Paul, who has done an excellent job of chairing this joint committee. Michael, I see your hand. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I sorry. I had a question about this. I wasn't expecting to be called on before you let Paul speak, but I was just curious because the borough board already passed a resolution on this. So is this just a formality at this point?
We haven't voted yet. So, but I know that there were 12 other boards that were at borough board, and I think that they did take a vote, but we could not vote because we haven't done this tonight. So
Susan has her hand up.
go ahead, Susan.
Yeah, to respond, it's not a formality because we have to submit it to Department of City Planning, who has specifically extended the time for us and a few boards to be able to do it. It also informs the council members who will be voting on this.
Okay, so what is our vote then in relation to the vote that borough board took?
It's nothing. I mean, the borough board is going to inform Gail's vote, and it's submitted. You know, as far as I know, you know, it'll influence her vote, and it's the borough board's vote will be submitted, but that is separate from our vote.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Paul, you're up.
All right. Was there a joint committee meeting last week? We sure about that? Do we have to actually address that? Okay. All right. So
All
we
jokes
had,
aside, here we go.
yes, I know. We had joint committee last week. It was SLA, land use and transportation in regards to the open restaurant text amendment. Now, the first part of this took place in July with public comments that helped us inform what the resolution would look like. This was basically the writing of the resolution last week. So we took the comments from July's meetings, everyone's comments. We know it's not supported pretty much throughout. There was a lot of comments and testimony sent in to the office over the summer, pretty much from July all the way up until I want to say about 3 weeks ago, to Susan and to Calvin at the office, and they did a great job putting the resolution together and gathering as much information and talking to city planning and talking to DOT and talking to the agencies to try to and get as many answers as they possibly could post meeting, because we knew they didn't have a lot of answers at the meeting. So we were trying to get more information over these past couple months. So at the end of the day, we had a resolution. It was heavily edited. I want to thank everybody who worked on that, and I mean everyone who worked on that resolution. It was, as you can tell in the vote sheet, it's quite lengthy. But I just want to be clear for the vote tonight that the resolution says we do not support the text amendment. That's what ended up being the vote. To not support the text amendment. That is the position of CB3's joint committee meeting. Now, if you vote yes tonight, you're voting yes to not support. You're voting yes to not support the resolution. If you vote no, you're not supporting the resolution. You may like the open restaurant text amendment. You may have different reasons for wanting to vote yes, and that's perfectly fine. To vote no, but yeah, I believe there's somebody from the public who said to vote no tonight because they like the open restaurant thing, and that's fine. That's where we stand. So if you vote yes tonight on that specific item, it's to not support. And I just want to make that clear tonight. There was some questions about clarity last week when we did it, because the vote took place almost at around the same time it did right now. It was around 9 o'clock. And people were tired. So I just want to be very, very clear about it. Other than that, I will take any questions, comments, concerns. I don't know how much more we can edit the crap out of this, but I don't see how we can. But go ahead, Olympia.
I mean, a quick thing is just for consistency, if you change the title of the resolution, usually in the resolutions we say support or not support, and this specific right now doesn't state that clearly, so that would help.
Did I not change it when I sent it back? Hold on. This may be on me. I'm sorry. Oh! Yes, we should change the title. I'm in agreement. I'm sorry. I thought I wrote it up as that.
Can you type the words into the chat thing?
Olympia, I don't have it in front of me right now. You want to type that in?
I mean, it just, before currently, let me just open the document. I just lowered it so that I could see you.
Okay.
So currently it says in the resolution just citywide text amendment open restaurants in the title of the resolution, and usually you should say CB3 does not support the citywide text amendment. I think if that's the result of that resolution.
All you want to say what you want it to be, and I'll just type it.
Okay, give me a second. Let me read it on my end. I'm
mean,
sorry. I'm balancing.
I put it into the chat.
Thanks.
I put it in the chat.
So, title citywide text amendment. I guess citywide text amendment. CB3. Oh crap. Sorry. Does not support open restaurants. I don't know if that sounds right.
The citywide text amendment.
Can I make a
Citywide
suggestion?
text amendment.
Go ahead, Michael. I'm sorry.
I just
Can't think
say,
of it.
vote not to support the citywide text amendment, open restaurants.
I'm with that.
So David.
Sorry, I'm stuck.
Well,
I'm
starting the
stuck
word
today.
vote, we don't start with the word vote, so.
Okay,
But, so.
Citywide text amendment.
CB3 doesn't.
Can we start with the word resolution? Can we just say resolution not to support?
Usually just say community board 3 does not support.
Okay.
CB3, I think you have it right there, David. CB3 does
Okay,
not
but-
support.
So probably without the hyphenation
Right,
that I put in,
right.
whatever you call those things. Yeah. Is that not going to everybody?
No. probably not.
Panelists and attendees. Okay. If I do it this way, will you all see it? Let's see.
Hit
Does
everyone.
Everyone? I don't have an everyone. I have a panelists and attendees.
Yeah,
Yes. I think
you
I'm
can't do
better.
that. I can send it either. I can send it out.
Anyway, it's relatively minor, but I've got CB3 does not support citywide text amendment :
It
open
is going
restaurants.
to everyone.
Open restaurants, yeah. Mhm.
Jeanette, go ahead. See you have your hand up, Jeanette.
Sorry, was calling.
That's all right. It's all right.
I'm sorry. Come back to me.
Does anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns? I know there's meat and potatoes, but I'd rather treat it like Oreos. Jeanette, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if it's important, but we say the proposed text amendment throughout the entirety of the document. So if it's just as easy as Control F replace, like the proposed text amendment and just say citywide text amendment, open restaurants. But I don't know how
It doesn't
important.
matter.
We're commenting on a proposal. I don't understand, Jeanette, what you're thinking about.
You know, this is.
I think we would just leave it as proposed. Jeanette, you have your hand back up, or do you want to comment again?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. If I'm hearing no other questions, I just want to repeat that a vote for yes means do not support. A vote no means don't like the reso, don't want open restaurants. That's that means. All right. That means there's an agreement. We chose to not support the text amendment. That's the reso. I know there was some confusion. And that's it. If there's no other questions, thank you.
Should we do a separate vote for this, David? I'm thinking maybe, because we have a bylaws next, or should we just put it all together?
Right. Well, it's not up to me. Here's what I will say. You're talking about a motion to division of the question. We always vote on everything as if it's one motion. So you're proposing to separate a single motion into two motions that will get separate votes. And it's automatic if any member asks for it. So it's not something to wonder, should we or not? Someone just needs to state, I want a separate vote on that, please.
All right, so we'll keep it all together. Then at the end, we'll vote for both of them together, okay? All right, thank you, everybody.
I was considering asking for a separate vote myself.
I'd like a separate vote for this.
Is there a second? Are you making a formal motion there?
It doesn't require, it is automatic. This is one of the very few things that does not require a second or a vote. As long as it is, pertinent and not bizarre, as long as it is understandable.
So David,
So just as long as there's no confusion at the end, everyone knows that when they vote for this item, you could, specifically say it if you want, if you oppose it or approve it or whatever.
We are going to vote on this one now because it has been requested.
Okay. There you go.
I mean, I suppose it's up to you whether you want to have two separate votes at the end or do you want to run a vote now? I'm sorry. So that's up to you.
We can do it right now. We just do it right now. Eric, go ahead.
Yep, give me 1 second here. So, for the
I hate to say this, but Paul, please reiterate again what a yes vote means.
yes vote means you support this resolution, which says we do not support the text amendment. The title now reflects that. The title now reflects that CB3 does not support the open restaurant, the proposed open restaurant text amendment.
Thank you.
Sorry.
All right, let's do it.
So, okay. All right. David Adams. Absent. Euron Altman. Absent. Jesse Beck.
No.
No. Lee Berman.
Yes.
Yes. Arlen Chan.
Yes.
Yes. Jonathan Chu. Okay, absent. David Crane.
Abstain.
Eric Diaz. Say no. Alistar Economakis. Absent. Amy Felber.
No.
No. Okay. Shirley Fennessy. Absent. Ryan Gilliam.
Yes.
Deborah Glass.
Yes.
Okay. Andrea Gordillo.
No.
Okay. Danielle Hernandez.
Yes.
Okay. Got you. Herman Hewitt.
Yes.
Okay. Trevor Holland. Okay, absent. Linda Jones. Linda Jones?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay, got it. Valentina Jones.
Abstain.
Tatiana Jorio.
No.
No. Lisa Kaplan.
Yes.
Yes. Olympia Kazi.
No.
No. Jeanette Kim.
Yes.
Yes. Michelle Cooper Smith.
No.
No. May Lee.
Yes.
Yes. Wendy Lee.
Yes.
Yes. Alicia Lewis Coleman.
Abstain.
And David Louis. Absent. Laura Lugo.
Yes.
Yes. Ellen Lou or Lowe. I'm sorry, Ellen. Okay, absent. Michael Marino.
Yes.
Yes. Alexandra Militano. Absent. Michael Perlis.
No.
No. Tariq Ramos.
No.
No. Paul Rangel.
Yes.
Yes. Maris Reyes. Damaris? Damaris, okay. Richard Ropiak. Richard? Okay, absent.
Yes.
Yes, all right, got it. Tomas Rosa.
Yes.
Okay. Robin Chattel.
Yes.
Okay. Heidi Schmidt.
No.
No. Larissa Scheinberg. Absent. Anisha Stephen. Absent. Sandra Strother.
No.
No. Daniel Tino.
Yeah.
Yes, all right. Josephine Velez.
No.
No. Troy Velez.
Yes.
Yes. Got it. Rodney Washington.
No.
No. Kathleen Webster.
Yes.
Yes. Jackie Wong. Absent. Ricky Wong.
No.
No. Okay. 6, 7, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20. Okay, now I'm gonna do the abstain. 1, 2, 3. Hey, Papa. And then absent. 1, 2, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13. All right, let's see if this adds up. 40, 50. Okay, so we have a total of 20 yes, 14 no's, 3 abstains, and 13 absents, for a total of 50. So I guess the yes has the higher count.
That's not how it counts.
Yes.
Read them again. Yes, no, and abstain. Those are the 3 important ones.
So I heard you say
20 yes,
20 yes,
14
okay.
no's, and 3 abstains. So even if you combine the no and abstains, the yes has more.
Correct. The yes needs to be a clear majority of the vote, and it is, as you say.
Right. Okay. And that's all.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric, and thank you everyone for working on this joint committee, this text amendment. Next and last for our meeting tonight is the bylaws. Who's going to speak? David Crane, you're speaking about the bylaws.
Correct. So I would like to be able to share my screen because I have a version of the bylaws that will help, I think, if I can share that. Is that going to be possible? It's still disabled for me.
You're a co-host now, so you can be able to
thank
do it.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
I can find this thing. It's that one. If I click share, y'all should be able to see my window now.
Got it.
And is it legible?
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent.
So, okay. So this is essentially the thing that was emailed out already. Here, let me read what I wrote. The bylaws task force has been meeting for a few months, and we distributed our proposed bylaws amendment via email on August 23rd. I will present the bylaws now, so it should be easy to bring up any section for discussion. Okay, parliamentary procedure for proposed bylaw amendment is a little different from ordinary main motions or resolutions. Tonight, we can amend these amendments, but we cannot introduce truly new change because there's this 28-day notification requirement. So we can make changes tonight for clarity. And whenever someone does move to amend the proposed bylaw amendment, we can ask ourselves this question. Could that change be big enough that someone who isn't present tonight might have made plans to attend? Perhaps they would have objected or supported the change. Okay, so that's very narrowing. So anyway, if that's true, then we won't accept the amendment that someone's offering. So is that clear enough? Or maybe it'll become clear as we go along. All right, before tonight's meeting, Lisa made comments on the proposed bylaws amendment. The task force chair, who is Anisha, not me, I'm filling in for her, has addressed some of Lisa's comments with a few amendments to this proposed bylaws amendment. These are highlighted in yellow in the document I'm presenting, so I'll move through these now. And we're going to make a separate vote on each amendment. I'm probably going to ask if there are no objections, because remember, these are clarifying changes. These are just some subsidiary motions. It's not the final vote. That will come at the very end. Okay, so let me scroll through to the first thing that Lisa said. What you see here in red, the underlines and the strikeouts, those are part those are the actual amendment. But the amendment to the amendment is, here's your first one. Aha. We added this in red about the board chairman. We were trying to clarify the procedures for, my goodness, for handling personnel matters. Anyway, at the committee, we decided that we should put this responsibility on the board chair, and Lisa has suggested replacing it by the second vice chair, which would be more in keeping with the stated elsewhere in the bylaws. We state the role of the second vice chair. One of their responsibilities is keeping track of the counts I'm sorry, I'm really not speaking clearly tonight, am I? Yes, attendance. But I will say that in the original, it was the board chair that proposes. And this is not a change from the original, but what do people think about Lisa's changing it to second vice chairperson? Is there any discussion, or can I just ask if there, well, I object for one. I don't think it's wise to put anything like this on the second. Lisa, go ahead. Lisa?
Lisa, you're muted.
Well, while Lisa.
I'm sorry. I thought I unmuted myself. I see I didn't. Pardon me. That actually was not the intent of my comment. My comment was really about why are we changing this from making it a discretionary thing to even send the notification. That previously, everybody who didn't make who missed more than a third of the meetings was sent a notification. And then it was discretionary whether or not there would be a follow-up after they continued their high absentee rate.
Okay. So Lisa, let's hold that thought until later, because that is different, completely different than what was sent out from the task force. So we can't deal with that as an amendment. I did want to clean up your other ones first. But I'm going to go ahead and delete this because this wasn't your intent.
Correct. I just mentioned in my comment the second vice chair, because later in the bylaws it says that the second vice chair would do these things.
I see. So let's move on and let's come back to that, because that is of whole bylaws amendment. So the next thing that she suggested, which I think we decided was excellent, was in the section on initiating removal or reprimand process. Really, this entire section is about removal or reprimand. And so Lisa has suggested adding reprimand, or I should say, Anisha has suggested adding reprimand to clarify that in these four, I thought there were four, these three places. Sorry, it is in a fourth one too, right there at the top, 4. Any objections to making that change? And Lisa, I know that you had other objections to the whole thing, but can we talk about that later? Because that's not going to be, that would have to be a voted down thing. Okay, so that one is accepted.
But
there were no objections to that.
Again, I feel like my point has been missed. There's no definition of what a reprimand is.
Right, and I didn't want to talk about that yet, but I will. So no other board defines reprimands, and it leaves us some freedom to decide what that is. Typically, it is something called censure, which is a final warning before you are removed. But it doesn't have to be that. And we are free to define it as we like at the time. I mean, I think it's a plain English word. So that would be the argument of the committee.
I don't think it's obvious at all what it is.
Each motion would be the same. Michelle, it would be different. Michelle.
Oh, thanks, David. So I would just say, I was on the bylaws committee and I helped draft this portion, and I did the research into looking at other Manhattan community boards, which I believe is a good way to do this, because I don't, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. And as David said, we purposefully did not define reprimand, to leave latitude about what that would look like. Thanks.
The next change, okay, I would suggest that we get rid of this. This is not a well thought out sentence, and I don't think that it is necessary. And Lisa points out that it's ambiguous, and I believe it is absolutely ambiguous. And so I think that we should remove this from the bylaws amendment. Is there anyone who objects to removing it? It's a thing that kind of goes without saying. Okay, I'm going to delete, because there's no objection. I'm deleting this amendment. All right.
With their hands up.
Michael Marino, I'm sorry. Lisa's hand was still up. Lisa, did you want to still speak?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I just forgot to put my hand down.
Michael.
Sorry.
I'm confused because I thought you said that we couldn't make, because of the 28-day rule, we couldn't make sweeping changes that might affect somebody wanting to attend. So wouldn't this classify, taking something out wouldn't entirely, would that not
Do you
classify?
feel that it's
I do.
Well, since it's unclear and unnecessary, I was thinking that it wasn't. If you think it's a big change, then we should vote it down separately later as a separate. Okay, so I'll take it that way, and we will vote on this one as we'll divide the question on this later. There's one more here, yellow. Yes, we made a mistake in editing. We intended to delete the sentence that is highlighted only, because that seems like it's from the days of paper and staplers. And we accidentally deleted this second sentence. So I feel that we should be leaving in the second sentence. I feel we can do this as an amendment to the bylaws amendment rather than a separate vote. Does anyone object to that?
No.
So I am changing it so that we are simply striking out that sentence. The last sentence is not being removed. Okay. So those are the clarifying amendments that came from the committee chair. Other discussion? To remind people, the major sections that we have worked on, I mean, they're spread throughout, but the major changes we're making can be summed up as we're updating procedures for executive committee position vacancy elections. That's one section. Another is updating the procedures for handling personnel matters, the removal or reprimand sections. There's a removal. Oh, there is.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Daniel,
Explain to me your
has
background. Yep. Daniel, go ahead.
Daniel, Michael, and Lisa.
Yeah, I see them.
I just had a question about why the duties of the treasurer were taken out, but the treasurer is still listed as an office. Or as
So do you want to make that as a clarifying amendment? Where
yeah,
we would
so
delete
remove
that?
treasurer.
Does anyone object to that change? Oh, in two places?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if we're doing this the most efficient way, but because I wanted to object to the removal of the treasurer's position entirely. I think.
All right, well, you can do that afterwards. Okay, you can also object to that. It would require a separate vote toward the end. We can't just remove that by a show of hands. We can't, delete the stuff.
Okay,
So go ahead and speak against
I
it, Michael.
object too, so I'll wait.
Okay, I am not tracking who's raised their hand first. So is Michael, but Daniel, are you done? Was there any
I'm done.
objection to going ahead and striking the other words treasurer? Okay.
Yeah, that.
And Michael, were you
Wait a
done?
minute, it sounds like you're asking for objection to striking treasurer. I object to striking treasurer because
To striking the word treasurer where it was left 3 times. So it's expanding on the deleting of the whole treasurer section to also delete 2 mentions of the word treasurer in other places in the document. It's just to clarify the amendment. They hang together as one amendment that you can vote down if you want to keep the treasurer position later.
Hey, how you doing?
So Herman, can you go? I'm going to go Herman, Lisa, and then Robin, because that's what I believe the hands came up.
Michael, is your hand still up or no?
Yeah, well, I'm just confused about the process here. I don't like, can we maybe handle like each massive change one at a time rather than jumping back and forth through the whole document?
When you called me the other day and said you were going,
Now you're not muted.
doing too well. I was like,
I think we're purposely confusing people to get these things pushed through. And I'd rather, you know, do this in a way that people can actually pay attention to what the massive changes are and have a discussion on each of them rather than jumping all over the document.
Can we send this back to the committee? It's so.
I agree.
Can we call on people whose hands are raised, please?
David, unmute yourself.
I was going to suggest that we do what Michael suggested, that we talk about, because it's come up several times now, the duties of the treasurer, whether to remove it, and it will vote that up or down. That will determine whether a lot of the words in here, you know, whether I undelete this or not. We'll have that as a full vote. So go ahead and let's discuss only whether to strike the treasurer position completely from the document, from the bylaws.
I think that I just will say this really quickly. I think that we discussed it because we reviewed that other community boards do not have a treasurer's position on their community boards. So that's when the conversation came up. Hold on a second.
So there's no way that I can track who has raised their hand in what order. This program is just not keeping a list. Herman, did you want to speak? And then Lisa, and then there were others.
Right.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I think the reason some of the community boards doesn't have a treasurer is because they delegate that authority to the executive director instead of but a treasurer, as much as the other position on the directorate, is responsible for the business of the corporation. Let's say it's a corporation. The treasurer has a responsibility to track, to meet with the executive, the ED, get the information as its financial viability, and then report it to the rest of the directors. And that happens in all corporations. I mean, the oversight of the financial ability of the corporation is not necessarily solely left to the ED. And as I was a treasurer, I find out that what should happen, and most people say it shouldn't, what should happen is that the treasurer should meet with the ED should give them all the information of whatever has happened, and the ED and the treasurer reports out to the board. So eliminating is saying that you're solely delegating all the financial responsibility to the ED, and that the board itself has no responsibility for its funds. And that's how I think about it. I think the board is the one that is responsible for the viability and the financial wherewithal of any board. whether it's private, nonprofit, or anything. All the boards that
So, Herman, could you sum up? Because I'm not sure. Do you support removing treasurer or keeping the
No.
treasurer? Which one?
No. I don't
Okay.
support removing it.
Okay, you don't support removing it. Lisa, did you want to speak?
Wait a minute. Can I just ask a question, Herman? What is the ED?
Executive Director.
And who is that?
Susan.
Oh, Susan. Oh.
Excuse me,
okay.
I am, that is absolutely not true.
Okay. All right. So
Lisa, did you want to speak, Lisa?
Not on the treasurer issue.
Okay, Robin?
I also
would
don't
like
want to
to
speak on the treasury issue. I'm really confused by this whole process. Can we talk about the process? Because this was not this was not an attachment on the email that I got. And
Right, at the moment, okay, so at the moment, this was. This section G being struck out was in the attachment.
I'm looking at my
And-
email. I don't see an attachment in my email that has this, so maybe I'm missing something.
On
but-
August
It's at the end of the
23rd,
vote
maybe?
sheet.
On the
It's at
vote
the-
sheet, Robin.
It's at the end of the vote sheet.
At the end of the vote sheet.
Okay, thanks.
And there was also a copy sent on August 23rd. Okay, Michelle, did you want to speak?
Yeah, thanks, David. So I think that the difference here is that we have a I'll say that I support removing the treasurer because for two reasons. One, it has not since I've been on exec had a significant role. The treasurer. We have a district manager and a board chair and the rest of the exec that performs oversight of the budgetary duties. The district manager presents the budget to the entire exec and we review it. So there is a group of folks who review the budgets. And moreover, we discussed during bylaws, and if Susan wants to elaborate, that all of our spending is actually audited by the comptroller, I believe. So it's not like there's no oversight of the spending of the community board. Second is that we have a lot of leadership positions on CB3. And frankly, there are only so many people who are willing to take on leadership positions. And so removing one of them actually, I think, is a positive because it's one that doesn't have a lot of responsibility or none at all, really, since I've been on. And it becomes sort of like a thing to fill. That's just my perspective. We talked about this really at length in the bylaws committee. Thank you.
Olympia?
Thank you. I actually agree with Herman that I'd rather us keep it, especially in view of the fact that there has been some scandals in the past couple of years with some community boards have problems with mismanagement of grants and stuff. But I do also agree with Michelle in the fact that I think we have too many officers. So maybe instead of having a second vice chairperson that I don't know exactly what duties they have, that second vice chairperson could also be the treasurer, so you can merge the tasks. But I also know that we had a 501c3 that at a certain point we all donated money last year. And so I think having someone who has that responsibility, given that that's a very specific kind of responsibility, is the right thing to do.
Okay, I still see hands up by Val. Did you want to speak, Val?
Yeah, I looked
Michael?
at community boards 1 and 6, and they both have treasurers. And I have to agree with Olympia. I think that it is not let me put it this way. I think that while we're saying that, we have a lot of officers, I don't think we had a problem with somebody running to be the treasurer. So, I mean, I could see saying you have an abundance of officers if there's a problem and nobody wants to run to be the treasurer. But I think that somebody did run previously to be the treasurer. And I think that, yes, we have had people in the news on this board and not for anything good in terms of board members. So, I mean, the scandals at CB3, it's like, let's not continue them, because this to me just looks like something else to be a scandal. And my assumption is that you want to get some kind of funding, and you don't want issues of control being what gets spoken about, because that gets spoken about already, the control issues here at CB3. So I think that I'm for having a treasurer. I like CB1, no need to lie. When the newspapers were talking terrible about CB3, they were talking wonderful about CB1. So I'm for a treasurer. I think eliminating the treasurer really looks shady.
Michael, do you want to speak?
Yes, thank you, David. So yeah, Val sort of stole a little bit of my thunder. I was curious. I know Michelle said that she looked at all the other bylaws, and I was wondering if she had any data to show what other community boards don't have treasurers. Because like Val, I did look at some other boards, and I looked at 1 and 6 as well. And I also looked at 12, and then they not only have a treasurer, they have an assistant treasurer. So I don't see why we're eliminating a role, and I don't agree to it.
David, I have my hand up.
Okay, Susan.
Okay, I am not weighing in on the question of to have or not to have. I just want to clarify things. First of all, I've never been executive director, and there is no such position on a community board. There, as far as I know, has never been an ounce of scandal regarding money on this board. Either since I've been in this job or before I've been in this job. I think most boards do have treasurers, not all of them. But I want to just point out a difference, which Michelle briefly touched on. We're nothing like a corporation. We are a city agency that is audited every year by the controller, and the finances are carefully watched, and what we can and can't do by Office of Management and Budget. Not to say that the board shouldn't also monitor, and just for those who are not on the executive committee regularly gets full disclosure of all expenses. And not only that, they are open to the public. If you go on the controller's website, every penny spent by our board every year is there for everybody to view. So I just want to make sure everybody understands the transparency of a city agency. Again, I'm not weighing in on the issue.
Val? Val, your hand is up.
Yeah. What I was gonna say.
I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off, but Bailey's hand was up first, and then.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Was it? I'm sorry. The background color is identical. Bailey?
Hi. I'm not echoing, am I? Okay. So I just wanted to support taking out the treasurer position because the executive committee assistant does review the budget and the expenditures at least twice a year, and it's not like our budget is, the city just gives us our budget. And the line items are always the same. We have 4 staff, and then we spend the same stuff all the time. We don't have a lot of extra. It's been that way for a long time. So there isn't much for the treasurer to do. And what you end up with is a position where sometimes where they don't have a lot to do, and we need to create other things as if they were a second, or as if they were a vice chair, where vice chair duties, sometimes they have to be a little bit more defined. So you have to give them stuff to do. And sometimes it's not, it's just like this other position that is it's another person that we have to figure out something to do for them. So often we vote for treasurers who might have other skills, because that's not how, they're not being a treasurer really. That's my point. Because there's nothing for them to do. So, so as long as we're able to, I think we should eliminate the position.
Robin.
There is an item here that says item number D that says executive, which is being added in. It says executive committee shall monitor the fiscal operations of the board or the board's operating budget. But then I have my question about that is who on the committee is going to be doing that. So if it's not going to be a treasurer, then somebody should be appointed to be the fiscally responsible person on the executive committee if that position is being eliminated and there is some need to monitor a budget.
Olympia.
I just wanted to clarify because Susan, I referred to the scandals. They were widely reported, not about our community board, but the Brooklyn Community Board with that SUV. And I can look the information, but
No, that's correct. But I'm saying our board is never.
okay, because I just want to clarify that's what I referred to. And I truly believe that we need to keep the treasurer anyway.
Paul.
I'm calling this a question if there's on this specific item about whether or not to keep the treasurer into the bylaws.
Okay, so are there people who really want to keep talking about this? If there are none, we'll go right to a vote.
I just want to put one item in there.
Paul, no,
David.
I can't let you do that, Hermit. If the group wants to stop debate, they will stop debate now.
Well,
So,
it's not the group was doing it. It's you, David, that's saying that.
No, one person just called the question, and now we need to ask the group if the group wants to continue, if they want to shut down debate. So I'm asking, are there people who do not want to shut down debate other than Herman? So that's nearly unanimous.
Well, no, my hand was up and I was told that
Yeah, but
somebody.
we're not going to talk all night. This is one mechanism by which boards can stop the debate. It is the only mechanism by which a board may stop the debate. One member, when they're called on in the course of, hand raising, says, I call the question. And then the chair says to the group, do we want to end debate? Unless there's a majority of people who want to keep talking,
Okay.
we will end debate. So is there a majority of people? Let me just count hands. Raise your hand if you want to continue. I'm sorry, the vote has to be end debate because the majority has to win that. Raise your hand if you want to end debate. 1, 2, it's going to jump around, so I'm going to have to wait till it settles down. I can't stand how Zoom does this. Well, it hasn't settled down yet. I think maybe settle down. 1, 2, 3. Oh, someone just raised their hand again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and me 25.
The host should have the ability to see the count at the bottom.
Oh, really?
To actually count.
The host can see better than me. I'm sharing a screen. Maybe that's why I cannot.
David, I can see too.
I believe that there are 25 people who.
You just need to open
a clear
your
majority. I counted 25. But I'm sharing the screen, and if I open this thing, maybe I can. I'm sorry, y'all would not know that I'm a software engineer. I can't do it.
David, it counts
I'm not gonna
25.
try.
It's 25.
I counted 25 people with their hand
It is-
raised.
it is
Thank you.
25.
So we have ended debate. We will now vote on whether we shall remove the duties of the treasurer in the entire position. So if everyone can clear their hands, I'm going to wait till all the hands are cleared so we don't accidentally vote something we don't intend to.
So David, to
Still
vote,
5 people
to
with their hand
vote,
raised, still 4.
David, what exactly is the vote now?
A yes means we shall remove the position of treasurer.
Okay, so yes is to remove treasurer.
Yeah.
And a no is to not remove treasurer. Okay.
Correct. It's one of those double negatives, but the yeses have to prevail.
Okay.
If it's tied, the yes fails. And so if we reverse it, we
Okay.
weighted incorrectly, okay?
So a yes is
everyone
to
in
remove
favor
and a no
of-
is to keep. Okay.
Everyone in favor of removing the treasurer position, raise your hand.
David, it's 15.
16 in favor of removing.
15, 1-5.
15. Okay.
Just look at the participants list. It's right at the top.
I wish I could do that, Michael. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm old.
I'm sorry, I'm happy to help you. Sorry, it's 15. It just
No
went down.
excuses, but I'm old. All right, so then everyone remove your hands. I've got 15 in favor of removal. There's still one person, hands raised. Andrea? Okay. Everyone who is opposed to removing the treasurer position, that means you want to keep the position of treasurer. Has it settled down? Are there more people who want to keep the position?
17.
17 want to keep, voted no. Thank you.
And there's
And-
38 people.
Right. Any abstentions? Please clear your hands first.
Lower
Everyone
hands.
clear your hands. 17. Clear hands. There's still a few hands. Richard, Val, and Sandra have their hands raised.
Wait a minute, what? I'm
Sandra
for.
still has her hand raised.
Okay.
Well, I've already completed that vote count. So there's 2 people just raised their hand. Are those the abstentions?
Yep.
But Kathy, Kate, rather, I mean, so everyone who's abstaining, go ahead and raise your hand now, besides myself. There's only 2 of us for abstaining. It's, we are done. Okay, that one failed. So let me come back to this window and I'm gonna reject this change. Reject change. Okay, and let me find the other 2 places because they're part of the package. Because I had to clarify, so we got to reject that
So
change.
David, this means we keep the treasurer and Susan doesn't control the money?
You know, I'm totally not going to answer that offensive question.
Well, no, I'm
Wow,
It is, we are
Val,
keeping the
that was
treasurer.
foul.
We're keeping the treasurer.
just,
Val,
okay, thank you.
Val, that
Because
was
the,
kind of
what we're
foul.
saying is that the controller controls the money. And all payments are paid by the controller.
That's what Herman said was that
You know, that was,
control
there was a
would be
long
the
thing said, but we are
person.
done. We are done with that one. We are
Okay.
keeping the position of treasurer.
Okay, yes, no, I
I'm
wasn't
sorry,
trying to be foul. I
need
was
to-
following what Herman has said.
Susan
Let's just
doesn't
move on,
control
please. What's the
our
next
money.
issue? What's the
Val,
next
Okay, Abby-
section?
Val, I'm
We'll
sorry.
go on to the next
Hold on,
section.
hold on, David, hold on. Val,
Wait.
that was not fair and not just.
I don't understand that. I thought that what Herman said was that the ED was Susan, and that if we didn't have a treasurer, that the ED would control the money. I thought that's what Herman said.
And
Because
she
I asked him who
clarified
was
that
the
there
ED.
is no ED on this community board.
There
Well,
is no
somebody
ED.
sent it in the chat that the ED was the district manager.
But it's
Look,
not, it's
Okay.
wrong.
Val, let me just say
let me
that
just
when
say, I
people say
wasn't
things in
trying to be
debate,
foul. I was following what Herman
okay,
said.
okay.
That's what I
Semantics,
understand.
semantics, district manager or ED, it's the same position.
It is
Right, I
not the
thought
same
Herman
thing.
said
It's
that.
not.
It's the
wasn't
same
making
But it's not.
responsibility.
It absolutely is not.
Okay,
Okay, I knew I was
let's-
not making that up.
we need to stop. We need to stop talking about that. We've made a decision. I see a couple hands. Is this to bring up a new topic, Michael?
Yes, yes. I would like to move on to the pronoun changes to make our bylaws more gender neutral. And I would just like to, I don't know if I need to make a motion to accept them all or just say that I would like to just get those all done and accept them all because I think that's an easy one that we can just get done.
Yes, I agree.
That we also could just roll that into the final vote. Do
Yeah.
you want to separate it and do a separate vote on that
Oh, no.
now? Because
No, that's fine. Then can I bring up another thing?
okay.
Requires a separate
So
vote?
let's choose if we. Okay, another thing you want to isolate. Let's do it.
Yeah.
What is it?
Section H2 about board members stopping attending a meeting for a period of 3 months or without requisition. I don't think we need that. We already have a mechanism to remove a board member for attendance issues, and I don't think we need a second one. So I would be opposed to that addition.
Can I
Okay,
see it?
Michelle.
Can you bring it up, David? Can you?
Yeah,
bring it
let me, I believe it's this here. It's this clause here.
Correct.
I was going to, or maybe Michelle can do it, but the general structure, we have really overhauled all of the procedures to try to streamline them. All procedures related to removal of a board member. But go ahead, Michelle. I'm gonna let you take this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just going to say
That's what you're
about
aiming to do.
about this particular clause that the intent here was in the event that we need to remove a member because it's affecting the operations of the board. This allows us to do that more quickly rather than the other attendance provisions. That was the intent here. It was like sort of like, this is like sort of willful neglect, willful negligence of your role as a board member. That's what this is an attempt to address, because we have a lot of provisions to allow board members to not fall into this situation, including asking for an extended leave of absence, which we talked about farther up, I believe. Thanks.
Lisa.
I wanted to second Michael's suggestion that we take this section out but besides the fact that I think it's unnecessary, to my knowledge, people not attending has never hampered our ability to function. And this is, first, the way this is written, it's very ambiguous. Stops attending meetings. What does that mean? Does that mean they missed one or two? Does it mean they missed them all? It doesn't say that. Then it says they'll send a letter, and if they don't start attending immediately, meaning like they got the letter on Monday and they didn't come to the meeting on Tuesday, then they go through the procedure to be expelled instead of using the procedure that we've already set out to remove somebody in a respectful way. It's just overly punitive and unnecessary, and I heartily agree that it should be removed.
So
or
can I
not
clarify?
accepted.
Okay, can I clarify that the 1 and 2 here are ways that the board chair can propose removal. Every proposed removal goes through a process that that you see in the rest of this. I'm forgetting the details for the moment, but
well, I read the
scroll
details.
down for it. Okay.
I read the
one thing you
details
pointed out was
and-
that you, Lisa.
Okay, the section 1 that talks about missing meetings over a third of the meetings, or third of the meetings over the first 6 months, every 6 months, says they may send a letter. This one does not. It says they will immediately take it to the through the reprimand removal process. It doesn't allow any leeway, and it's just unnecessarily punitive.
All right, I think that there is leeway, but it's at a further step in the process, because it would be.
It goes through steps, but it
Right, here
doesn't
it is.
say may. It says shall.
Well, we explicitly have crafted this so that, yes, the board chair shall propose removal to the executive committee. That is a shall, but then when they have been, it's buried in this section here. Oh my gosh. I think it's right here in this paragraph here. There'll be written notice sent to the board member of the proposed removal, and the charges 10 days prior to the meeting of a hearing committee. And then, I'm sorry, there's a previous one here. I really should be better prepared for doing this. Bylaws are the worst. Is it buried somewhere here that's not? There is a executive may decide, and then here the board shall send a letter. I'm sorry, Lisa, you are correct. That the thing I'm thinking of is different for these two. So my apologies for saying that you were not correct. It does say that they're going to send a letter directly to the board member. It's not going to go to the executive. The thing is, we really had talked about doing this as a faster than 11-month process to get rid of someone who has 100% stopped coming to meetings. It just doesn't seem right that someone can string the board along for 11 months before they can be removed.
I don't know where you get 11 months.
If the other
It's
process
9 months.
takes 11 months. If we have to do it by saying, given the way that things time, it could be 11 months because you've got to miss the meetings. Then there's
It could be.
I forget, it could be 11 months. And so it's 9 to 11 months to get someone off the board when they clearly have disappeared. This has happened many times over the decades that someone just stops coming. Maybe they moved out of the city and the board cannot remove them faster than that 9 to 11 month window. So the whole intent
Somebody
of this
could call them
was
up
to
and ask them
expedite
to
it.
resign.
We have tried calling people who have left the city and you just can't locate them sometimes.
David, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry,
I was
my
going back
hand
to
was
the
up
speaker
before
list.
Kay's.
Okay.
My hand was up first, if you
Robin?
don't mind, David.
Robin.
I would like to put to
Go ahead,
vote.
Robin.
I would like to put to vote Michael's suggestion to remove this clause. Can we do that now? Are we at that point?
We're discussing it.
Right. Can I?
You say to put it to a vote, so you want to call the question?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to do the same process we did before. I'm remembering the two hands, Kay and Olympia. If everyone will take down their hands, I would like people to raise their hands if they are done debating this and they want to go right to a vote on deleting item 2. So everybody who is done with debate, raise your hand.
It's at 24 already, so I don't think it's gonna.
Okay, so that does it. So we are, everyone can lower their hands. And we will vote on whether to remove item 2, this what I've just highlighted. I think that it's standalone. We'll end up having a 1. That's not by an adjacent 2, but yes, it was designed so that this can be cut out like that. Okay, so I see some hands up. Have I started the vote already, or are these hands for something else? All in favor of deleting these rows? That would mean removing the abbreviated process. All in favor of doing that, raise your hand. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 votes are coming in.
You're at 16, David.
All right, going once, going twice.
17.
17, yes. And everyone take your hands down again. Everyone who does not want to remove it. So in other words, leaving in this abbreviated process or initiation of a abbreviated way to initiate it. If you want to keep this abbreviated process, raise your hand.
And finish this.
I'm trying to raise mine. I don't know that I actually can.
You can't,
I'm
because
on
you're a
top of it.
co-host.
Okay.
Neither can Linda or Alicia.
So have Linda and Alicia, how are they voting? So I only see one vote.
Right now, there's 13 hands up.
My hand is up. My little brown hand is up.
All right, so
Right.
with you and Alicia, that's 15. And Linda, 16.
Actually, Alicia was able to raise her
I'm
hand.
sorry, yeah, Linda's able, she took away her co-host ability, so yeah.
So how many?
It was 15 with you, David.
14, 15?
15.
Okay, 15. So everyone's hands are down. I believe everyone's hands should be down now. And then if there are 2 more hands still up. And now if you want to abstain.
1.
Seeing one abstention. Okay. So the yeses for removing the section win. So I'm going to reject that change. Go ahead and clean up the numbering 2. And get rid of that too, okay?
Can I suggest one more cleanup? Did you take out the sentence about the executive
you can also
committee?
get shit, however you
running-
are.
Please mute
Or can
yourself.
include people on
Jamie, you
Zoom.
better mute yourself.
Jamie, mute
People on
yourself,
Zoom,
please.
Jamie, you need to mute yourself.
Leave me to my misdoings.
I found a way to mute him.
I did too.
Okay.
David, did you take
Someone
the
was speaking.
sentence out about having the executive committee manage the finances? It's way at the end.
Yeah, finances. It's not really searching for that. Is that the phrase that was in it? I could way at the end. Could leave that wherever it is, way at the end.
I
Is there
guess not that
a
far.
clause that I could search for?
Oh,
A
good
word?
one. In the search bar.
I'll tell you where it is.
Yeah, but I'm looking for the word finance. Maybe financial. If I can spell it. That's not it. We actually could leave it. Well, I won't
No,
do it
not
yet.
if it's the treasurer's responsibility. It's
Well, typically it's done by the executive committee. Maybe the treasurer
it's
kind of.
section 4D, sorry, 5D.
Can you give me a word that I can search for?
The
It'll go
executive
really fast if
committee
I
shall
type in a word.
monitor the fiscal operations. Fiscal operations.
Here we go.
Monitor the fiscal operations.
Right. So that's here. So then we had moved it there. Okay. Yeah. So that was really part of the previous vote. So let me delete that. Reject change. Okay. Next. Olympia.
Hey there. So I had a procedural question. Now that we're eliminating a lot of these things, some other things may make sense. Like for instance, right now in what we eliminated, we could add language instead of having 11 months to make it like 6 or 9 months in that original section, because that was the problem. The duplicate was very confusing. So what is the procedure?
Right. So this would have to, it would be another bylaws. It would be a totally different bylaws cycle that would have to go into. And that's a particularly challenging one, I'll tell you, because.
So is it helpful if, since I understand that people don't have to wait 11 months, do you want me to give language to add, or
no, we can't do that tonight.
Okay, good.
No,
good.
because it's too big of a change, correct. It would have to go through a whole process, the whole
Thank you.
task force cycle. Thank you. Anyone else? Should I mention the other sections, or do we want to, is there debate on other parts of it, or do we want to go to a vote on the whole thing now? Michael.
I think, I don't remember who it was, but there was somebody earlier that had a question about the reprimand section. So I don't know what the question was. So I just wanted to remind whoever that person was.
As usual, it was me, but I just didn't know what a reprimand was and what it constituted, and I can think that's a problem, but maybe I'm alone in that, and I don't know.
Okay.
I'm
It's hard to tell when people are done. Kay.
Yeah, thanks, David, and thanks for hanging in here. I just overall, and maybe it has to do with, and I'm glad we took out that phrase, but or that paragraph, but the whole issue of reprimand, there's something about the tone that I feel like about board members and all of, not making it to meetings. And I think in particular during the pandemic, and which includes now, and people are really struggling. I just don't think the tone is the tone that I would want us to have with each other. And I know we're stressed, and I know it makes a difference when people don't show up for quorum. I don't know if that's been an issue for this, but it's not a specific change that I would make. I just want to say that I feel like a lot of us are in the camp of restorative justice, and this misses something for me. But that's all. I don't have any specific changes, but thanks.
I did not notice which order the other hands went up. I'm so sorry. But Olympia spoke already, so I'll go with May and then Lee. May Lee?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So I think just about the word reprimand, I think it's not necessary. It's more about the other for cause things, not necessarily the attendance stuff. So it's less than being removed, right? It's like you're being told that, something got to change. For lack of a better word. I wasn't the one who came up with the word reprimand, but it's a plain language word. So, that suits me fine.
Lee Berman.
Yeah, it's more of a procedural issue for subcommittees as well as this. It would be, I think, very advantageous for everybody if we could be sent even last minute resolutions or edits or changes, so that we can all have them in advance, or as far in advance as possible, even if that's an hour or so before the meeting, so that we can contemplate this beforehand. It's 10:04 already. I appreciate all the work that everybody is doing, but anything that we can do to try to expedite things, especially lengthy debate over extremely important language changes. Thank you.
Okay.
Could I say these were sent out Friday and put on the website on Friday?
Not these most recent changes.
Yes. Yes, they.
No,
the yellow one?
Oh, not Lisa's changes.
That's what I mean.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm going to go with Olympia and then Robin.
So I just wanted to second Lisa's suggestion to clarify reprimand or to eliminate the word reprimand. Also because it's confusing. It puts together things like a felony conviction and soliciting or failing to state your conflict of interest that are very serious to things that are very vague. So this is the bylaws. I think we should be more clear. I don't feel comfortable with this. And so also to Kay's point and everything.
Okay, this list was taken from the previous bylaws. I don't think we made a single change to A through F. It's just in a different position. The mark changes, there were so many changes in the whole section, but that's that. Robin?
Thanks for pointing that out, Dave, because it's interesting, because I never really looked at all of these as closely as I'm looking at them now, but I just lost the page you had. If you can go back to it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was searching around for the other form of it.
Like some of this seems very subjective to me, like line number F seems very subjective. demonstrating behavior and becoming a board member. That seems very subjective to me, like, and a
Right.
felony
So
conviction,
this
I'm not
language
sure.
is identical. It's identical.
Right, and
So I just read it. And so
if
it's
we're
not
going
up
to
for
be,
debate tonight. We can
the
reject
language
all
is
of
not,
these changes and we'll drop back to the old language, which is identical. So let's talk about something else. People have been talking about reprimand and the word that's pertinent. Talking about this list, except for that you're confused by it, is not pertinent to talk about.
why,
The
I don't
exact list
understand.
exists in the current bylaws.
Right, but if we're debating
If you read the
whether,
current bylaws, you will find we're debating whether to modify the procedures surrounding this list.
okay. Thanks.
Michael?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to move this along, so I want to call the question on removal of the word reprimand from the bylaws.
Oh, I didn't realize that was a motion.
Oh, well, I'm going to make the motion and call the question.
Okay, that's good. So removing the word reprimand and possibly the word or wherever it appears. That is something that we do that I wish we did not. Like I heard Olympia say, I second that. Well, there was never a proposal. Michael just made it. People need to specify precisely what language you want to modify rather than, say it might be a good idea to. Okay, so I'll take it as seconded because I just talked about it. Does anyone need to debate that any further? Okay, Michelle, your hand is up.
Thanks, David. Yeah, thank you. So I just want to speak to the importance of including this. Before we revised our bylaws in the most recent bylaws committee, we did not have a process for how to, how to deal with, problems with members. There was no process. I'll say in my day job, I work on ethics issues. I file ethics complaints and legal complaints against elected officials, appointed officials, et cetera. And when there's no process, there's no, that leaves us without a way to deal with things. And that's unfair to everyone. It's unfair to, it's just unfair. How are you going to hold people accountable? How do you feel like you're being held accountable in the right way if we don't have a process? And that was the importance of including this section. So, sorry, am I not supposed to be saying this, David?
No, the question has been.
I asked David Olympia. I asked David. David, am I allowed to say this?
Oh my gosh. Well, no, it was, Michael proposed an amendment. He can't.
Right, it's not calling the question if he's asking, he's proposed an amendment to remove the word reprimand. He was not calling the question.
There was a failure to propose that previously. Jeanette, and then Robin.
I know, I'm sorry, I was confused. I thought he called to question removal of the word reprimand, and I thought we'd either have to decide whether we continue the debate.
No, he had not, he tried to, but he was under the impression there was already a motion. There was not.
Do you have to have a motion before you call to question?
Sure.
Okay, so
the motion was to remove the phrase, the word reprimand throughout the document.
So do I need to second that, or do I just call to question now?
That's been, you need to call the question. Well, I'll let you do it. You're calling a question on that.
Yes.
Everybody lower the hands. And then if you are done debating the word reprimand, raise your hand. Can someone tell me if we've just shot past 20 or so?
We're at 24 right now, David.
All right. So everyone can lower their hands because we are now going to take a vote.
Is it to remove reprimand?
That was a vote to stop debate. Now we will vote on whether to remove the word reprimand. So everybody, there's like 6 places, I believe. I will delete them if it passes. Everyone in favor of removing the word reprimand so that this will only read about removal, raise your hand.
Looks like nope. Now we're at 13.
13, okay. Has 13 yes? So yes. Everyone lower your hands. And now everyone who is not in favor of removing the word reprimand. That would mean that we will have a procedure for both reprimanding or removal will be the same procedure. Raise your hand if you're in favor of having a removal or reprimand process.
David, which way are you voting?
I'm going to vote yeah this time, no.
So then we're at 18 with your vote. No, 19 now.
Okay, 19 voted no. Is there anyone who wants to abstain?
Everyone's got to lower their hands first.
Oh yeah, sorry. You know, I was scolding people just the other night about that. All hands are removed, I think.
Except
There
Andrea.
are 2 hands still up.
Andrea.
Andrea and Sandra.
Okay.
Okay, I think they're all down.
Yep.
Anybody who wants to abstain, raise your hand now. Okay.
David, you were reprimanding
zero
people the
abstentions.
other
So-
night, you mean?
Yes. I was encouraging them to behave properly. That did not pass, so we are leaving the word removal in.
Reprimand, you mean?
You mean reprimand?
That's what I meant. It's getting late. It's already 10:12. Is there further discussion about any portion of the bylaws amendment? If there is none, then we'll go to a vote on all of the remaining changes. Just going to scroll through so you can remember them. It won't take me too long here. The whole process, reprimand or remove. This. Glad I did that. I want to remove this, and we need to do that now. This sentence is too ambiguous. It should be referring to the New York State open meetings law and et cetera. And also it goes without saying, this is the law on how we conduct our meetings and hearings. But since it's ambiguous, I don't think that it needs to be here anymore. So I want a separate vote on this. Any discussion of that? So I'm encouraging, yes, Jeanette.
Sorry, I'm confused as to why it says Robert's, like it seems duplicative, but to your point that it is automatically city charter bylaws, why is that a given?
The city charter says this. The city charter says we follow Robert's rules unless we're overruled by the city charter, and then the state says unless we're overruled by the state open meeting laws. It would have to be a more extensive statement than this to be fully accurate, but it goes without saying.
Got it.
I
So
think,
this, what you're saying is this sentence is unnecessary entirely.
Correct. And so I want us to vote it down. Anybody else have a comment before we do that? Yeah.
Yeah, just a clarification. You don't want to eliminate only the red part, but the whole point number 3?
No. We can't remove the whole point number 3, just the red part, just the part I've highlighted that was in red. It was an addition that was proposed from the committee. And Lisa said stuff about it that made me realize this doesn't belong here. And so I want us to vote it down. So more discussion. Everybody in favor of removing this section, vote. Sorry, that's wrong. Take your hands down again. I'm so sorry. If you're in favor of leaving this, vote yes. I'm going to vote no. If you want to leave it in here, vote yes. So we're taking yes votes. I'm not seeing any come in.
Nope.
Okay, so it's the 0 for yes. All in favor of no, of removing it?
You have all over 20 now.
24,
yeah, but we need
25, including you. 26, including you.
Okay. Are there anybody who wants? Okay, so take your down your hands, please. You know, this is so much harder over Zoom than it is in person. There are still 3 hands up, I think. Eric, Laura, Heidi.
Sorry, I just.
Anybody wants to abstain, raise your hand now. Okay, nobody wants to abstain? Okay, I'm scrolling through. Well, I'm going to delete that thing. So I'm going to reject the change. Okay. And I'm still scrolling. Right, we did that one. And that's stay in. Stuff about the clarifying sentences about the officer vacancy. Okay. If there's no more discussion, we're going to go to a vote on the whole thing, or we could roll it in to the calendar agenda at the very end of the meeting.
Let's do that.
Yes.
What do you say, Alicia?
Yes, yes, and yes, please.
Alicia, it's your show now.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, David. Yes, we will roll this all together for the end vote. I am tired. Okay, thank you, David. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, everybody. This is it. We're voting for all the committee stuff, and we're voting for all of this other stuff, because I think we're all getting tired. Okay. Eric, where are you?
David Adams, absent. Yaron Altman, absent. Jesse Beck.
Yes.
All right. Lee Berman.
Yes, except no on SLA August 3, 7, 10, 11, 13, 19, and no on the bylaws.
Okay, got it. Jonathan Chu, absent. David Crane.
You skipped me. You didn't call me.
Oh, Carlin, I'm sorry. Carlin. Carlin.
Yes. You didn't. Are you calling me now?
Yes, I'm calling you now.
All right. I'll say yes then.
Jonathan Chu, absent. David Crane.
Yes.
Eric Diaz. Yes. Alistar Economakis, absent. Jamie Felber.
Yes.
Okay. Shirley Fennessy, absent. Ryan Gilliam.
Yes.
Okay. Deborah Glass. Deborah. Okay. Hi, Deborah. No? Yes?
I don't see her.
I think she had to leave.
Okay. Okay. Andrea Gordillo.
Yes, no on landmarks number 2 and no on, I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, the text amendment 1.
Yeah.
We already voted on the text.
I think we
amendment.
voted on the text amendment.
Oh, I'm sorry. So scratch, so just, so
Landmarks
then
2.
yes and no on text, on landmarks 2.
Got it. Danielle Hernandez.
Yes.
Okay. Herman Hewitt. Herman?
Yes.
Okay. Trevor Holland, absent. Linda Jones.
Yes.
Valentina Jones.
Yes.
Tatiana Jorio.
Yes, but no on landmarks number 2.
Okay. Lisa Kaplan.
Yes.
Olympia Kazi.
Yes.
Okay. Jeanette Kim.
Yes.
Okay. Michelle Coopersmith.
Yes, but no on landmarks number 2.
Okay. May Lee.
Yes.
Okay. Wendy Lee.
Yes.
Alicia Lewis Coleman.
Yes.
David Louis, absent. Laura Lugo.
Yes.
Okay. Ellen, absent. Michael Marino.
Yes, but no on SLA August 3, 7, 10, 11, and 13.
10, 11, and 13. Okay. Alexandra Militano, absent. Michael Perlis.
Yes. Thank you.
Tariq Ramos.
yes. No landmarks 2.
Okay, Paul Rangel,
Yes, but no on SLA August 19 and no on landmarks 2 and no on the bylaws.
I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry.
more time.
SLA August 19, landmarks 2 and no to the bylaws.
Landmarks 2, no to bylaws. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you. Okay, Damaris Reyes. Maris. Absent. Richard Ropiak.
No on the bylaws, yes on everything else.
No bylaws. Okay, Tomas Rosa.
Yes.
Robin Chattel.
Yes.
Heidi Schmidt.
Yes.
Larissa Scheinberg. Absent. Anisha Stephen. Absent. Sandra Strother.
Yes.
Okay, Daniel Tino. Daniel?
Yes.
Yes, okay, gotcha. Josephine Velez.
Yes.
Okay, Troy Velez.
Yes.
Okay, Rodney Washington.
Yes.
Okay, Kathleen Webster.
Yes on everything, but no on the bylaws, but with thanks for the work.
Jackie Wong. Absent. Ricky Wong.
Yes, I'm recusing myself from the landmarks number 2.
President, I vote in landmarks 2.
Well, there's no such thing as a recuse. So is that a present not vote, and for what reason?
I work for the developer that got the landmarks approval from LPC. So I thought I was going to recuse myself. I was told to recuse
Yeah,
myself.
so
but-
the word is present not vote, but yes, that's a valid reason. That's great.
That was my mistake. I didn't catch the recuse instead of present voting. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
All righty. Can I please, is there any old business?
Did everything pass? I mean, the vote should be stated.
Okay, so Eric, while you're doing the count,
Okay.
do the count.
Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. We got 35, 36 yes.
36 yes. To everything.
Right. Except for what was stated as no's and present not vote.
Got it. 36 out of 40.
No.
No, 30.
There's 36 panelists and 4 attendees. Only 36 people can vote.
Yes.
I think you would need to basically count the people who voted no on the bylaws, but I don't think they were majority. But
yeah,
how many no's on the bylaw, Eric?
There were 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 on the bylaws. They voted no.
Everything else was a yes.
Correct.
Okay.
There were a few
No
no's
votes
on the
on
SLA too.
SLA
Or,
items and on
landmarks too.
landmarks.
Hold on. There's too many people talking at the same time. I can't understand. Eric
So
is the one
with
that's
the-
taking the count. He's the
So
one
with-
that understands what the count was. Eric, can you
So-
please read the count?
So with SLA, there was 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 that voted no. Landmarks was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that voted no.
Okay.
So none of them were majority.
Okay. So what does this mean?
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah,
Second.
thank you. Can I have a good night, everybody? Good night, Grace.
Good night, everybody.
Dreams.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Real.
Bye-bye.